Our story kicks off with a brutal family intervention. Wrong Ningshuin is being called ungrateful by her own brother. She can only stare as he defends the family's real daughter. Our girl is seething. This new girl, Wrong Feiyu, is the reason she's lost everything. Her brother coldly wishes she'd just perished on the streets, and then he attacks her with his full power. He sends her flying across the courtyard. Another man tries to defend her, but her brother is absolutely ruthless. But Ningxuan has reached her limits. A dark, dangerous power awakens in her violet eyes. She snaps. If they're so determined to help the new girl, they can all die with her. The sudden gush of power stuns everyone, but her little outburst attracts someone far more terrifying. A mysterious, silver-haired man appears out of nowhere, and with one swift, merciless move, she's dead. The evil supporting character has been eliminated. The main characters can now live happily ever after. But wait, a modern girl is watching this whole tragedy play out on her TV. Meet Ningxuan, a drama-binging student who just happens to share a name with the villainess. And boy, does she hate her namesake. She thinks the villainess is a brainless idiot who totally deserved her gruesome death. Tired of rewatching, she tries to change the channel, but the remote is dead. Fine, she'll just have to get up and press the button on the TV. The second her finger makes contact, the screen erupts in a blinding light. She's yanked from her feet and pulled into the television. Our poor girl is sent tumbling through a sparkly, butterfly-filled void. She lands with a hard thud. She finds herself in a lavish, ancient-looking room, and she's wearing the villainess's dress. Wait, this can't be. She tries to convince herself she's just dreaming. Time for the classic reality check, a hard pinch. Oh, okay, it's real, this is really happening. Just then, a maid runs in with the worst possible news. The real daughter, Miss Feiyu, has returned to the manor. Our girl's blood runs cold, she knows this scene. She grabs the maid in a panic, demanding answers. The maid confirms it, the long-lost biological daughter is here. A system window confirms her worst nightmare. She's been transmigrated, and she's become the evil supporting character who dies a horrible death. Her immediate reaction, GTFO, she makes a mad dash for the window and leaps out. The shock of the icy pond below clears her head. As she floats, a brilliant plan begins to form. The original Ningxuan died for all the evil things she did. But our girl hasn't done any of those things yet. She can still change her fate. She leaps from the water, renewed with determination. She just has to escape before the plot catches up. First step, confront her adoptive father and get the heck out of Dodge. He's the one who's created the original monster. She makes a dramatic, dripping entrance, looking like a seaweed creature from the deep. He screams, thinking she's a ghost, a fair assessment, honestly. After she gets changed, he sits her down for the talk. This is it, the crucial scene where the original villainess begs to stay, sealing her doom. But our girl knows the real right answer, and she's ready to give an Oscar-worthy performance. But right as she opens her mouth, the door swings open. The female lead is here. Of course she is, the timing is impeccable. This must be Miss Ningxuan. Our girl is so stunned by the FL's beauty that she gets a spontaneous nosebleed. Snap out of it, this is not the time to be seduced. Her father finally asks the fateful question, will she stay as his adopted daughter? Time for phase 1 of operation, get me out of here. She starts crying, clinging to his leg. She begs him to let her leave so she doesn't get in the way of his real daughter. But the female lead, being the angel she is, insists that Ningxuan should stay. Ugh, why is she so nice? If her life wasn't at stake, our girl would totally be her bestie. Just then, a servant brings a gift, a ferocious-looking hellhound. Oh crap, she totally forgot about the evil dog plot point. In the original story, Ningxuan sets this exact dog on Feiyu. This is the moment that solidifies her as a true villain. It's the point of no return. The dog breaks free and lunges straight for the female lead. The plot is happening against her will. Feiyu screams, completely defenseless. Not on her watch, our girl dives in, shielding Feiyu with her own body. They both tumble to the ground as their father cries out in shock. Feiyu seems okay, just a little shaken. Our girl, however, now has a dog latched onto her head. She gives a bloody thumbs up, just praying the FL is safe. The dog is still biting her. As she lies bleeding on the floor, she weakly tells her father she's okay and to please let her leave. But seeing her sacrifice, her father is moved to tears. He refuses to let her go. And Feiyu is so touched, she grabs her hand and vows to be her sister forever. This is the worst possible outcome. Trapped by their kindness, our poor heroine spurts blood in pure rage and passes out. But this chaotic little drama has an audience. A handsome, mysterious man watches from a distance, a smirk playing on his lips. Interesting. A handsome hero appears, descending from the heavens like a golden god to save our poor girls from the bandits. He lands with the grace of a celestial being. Turning to them, his voice is like smooth silk as he asks, "Are you two all right?" But the second their eyes meet, it's not a swoon-worthy romance moment, it's a chaotic moment. His handsome face immediately twists into pure, unadulterated disdain. So who is this gorgeous hater? None other than the renowned and domineering Lord Shuen, a noble with royal blood and a dream guide to thousands of ladies. He's also the one person in the entire world who despises the original wrong Ningshuan the most. He glares at our girl, demanding to know what she's doing here. He immediately accuses her of orchestrating the whole thing, and our poor heroine starts sweating bullets. You see, the original villainess was absolutely obsessed with Lord Shuen. She used their engagement contract to harass him relentlessly, beating up any girl he even glanced at. She destroyed his favorite restaurants over petty jealousy, and even caused a massive family feud by searching for him in a brothel based on a rumor. This girl's middle name was Unhinged. After her long and chaotic campaign of pure crazy, she successfully landed the #1 spot on his personal blacklist, right above Bugs, that savage. Our girl remembers watching the drama and thinking this side character was a total nutcase, and now she is the nutcase. Lord Chuen is convinced she hired the bandits just to lure him out, but she frantically denies it. He's completely over her games, telling her he has no time for this nonsense. As he turns to leave, our girl panics. She can't let her only ticket out of here just walk away. So she does what any sane person would do and latches onto his leg for dear life. While this chaotic drama unfolds, the bandits are feeling a little neglected. The leader is absolutely furious at being ignored and orders his men to attack. Charge! They swarm Lord Xuen, weapons raised high. He threatens to get rough if our girl doesn't let go, while she's screaming at him to watch his back. He just scoffs. With a single elegant move, he sends the goons flying. He glares down at her, still convinced this is all her pathetic scheme. The bandit leader has had enough. He screams and unleashes his ultimate secret technique. Despicable-style secret technique, coin shower, which is apparently just throwing a bag of dirt in their faces. Lord Xuen is momentarily confused, but as he inhales the dust, he suddenly feels his power weakening. The mighty Lord Xuen collapses to his knees. Our girl rushes to his side, asking if he's okay as he grits his teeth in frustration. He can't believe he fell for such a simple trick. And just like that, our trio was captured and hauled off to the bandits' hideout. Thrown in the dungeon, Lord Xuen immediately starts laying into our girl, still thinking this was all her plan to get him alone. The original female lead, Feiyu, is just confused about why our girl is even there. When our heroine explains they were captured by bandits, Lord Xuen looks at her like she has 3 heads. Bandits? What bandits? He asks. Girl, you can't make this up. The realization finally dawns on his face. He's utterly shook that those weren't paid actors. Tied up in the cell, our girl asks why a powerful cultivator like him can't just break the ropes. He looks away, totally embarrassed. Turns out that coin shower was a special powder that weakened him and sealed his powers. Our girl is having a meltdown. The supposedly invincible male lead was taken out by a bag of dirt, but the ever-resourceful female lead, Feiyu, suggests they find a sharp rock to cut the ropes. So our heroine starts wiggling on the floor like an inchworm on a mission. She finds a suitable stone, but before she can celebrate, she sees the cold, calculating glint in Lord Chuen's eyes as he asks to go first. Her mind immediately jumps to the worst-case scenario. She pictures him grabbing the rock and screaming die, before ending her right then and there. Yeah, no thanks. She quickly pushes Feiyu forward instead. You go first. What follows is a very interesting scene. As Lord Chuen holds the stone, Feiyu starts rubbing against it, telling him a little higher. He's blushing furiously as she pants, yes, harder. She urges him to keep going, saying the rope will snap soon. Our girl is watching this all go down, and her inner shipper is having an absolute field day. The fanatical excitement is reaching its peak. But it's not Feiyu's rope that breaks, it's our girl's. She just broke them with her own power, leaving the main couple staring at her in stunned silence. Whoops. She completely forgot the villainess was a cultivator too. Having no idea how to use her powers, she tries to bend the iron bars. It doesn't work at all, and the loud clank from her failed attempt alerts the guards. The cell door is thrown open and Lord Chuen is fuming. You idiot. They make a run for it. But then, in the most classic trope ever, both the male lead and the female lead twist their ankles at the same time. They heroically tell our girl to save herself. She's just standing there thinking, are you kidding me? Knowing that side characters who abandon the main couple never get a happy ending, she grabs them both and drags them along as they flee. Feiyu starts complaining about hand placement, but they have bigger problems. It's a dead end. A solid rock wall blocks their paths. Suddenly, a massive weapon slices through the cave. The impact sends them all flying. Lord Chuen hits the wall hard, trying to shield them. He looks up in shock. It's the bandit leader, and he is smiling that evil villain smile. It seems, he says, raising his spiked club. I've got to beat you into submission. Our girl shuts her eyes, bracing for the end. There's a sickening splat of blood, but she's unharmed. Lord Chuen took the blow for her, a massive gash bleeding down his forehead. He glares at the bandit. Your villainy won't be tolerated. Blood pours from his wound. Not on my turf. With his own body, Lord Chuen blocks the bandit leader's attack. The blade cuts deep into his shoulder, blood spraying everywhere. He trembles from the blow, but he doesn't fall. Instead, a massive wave of energy explodes from him. The bandit leader is stunned. The poison was supposed to keep him weak for hours. But Lord Chuen just glares, surrounded by a vortex of fire, and calls him an ignorant cur. He unleashes his true power, revealing that the blood of his clan can burn its enemies to a crisp. Our girl is absolutely swooning. Lord Chuen is just too cool. But wait a minute, this isn't the time to be simping. Something's not right. Her chaotic brain starts spiraling. Why did he save her? She thought he hated her, unless could it be love? She demands answers, point-blank asking if he's in love with her. And her face is dead serious. Lord Chuen is so flabbergasted and enraged by her timing that he literally yeets her across the cave, screaming for her to get out of his sight. The bandit leader isn't impressed and orders his men to charge the twerp. But Lord Chuen is about to go supernova. His eyes glow with pure rage as he lists off every single humiliation he's suffered. He was tied up, thrown in a dungeon, and even groped. And now he declares all of them will pay the price. He slams his fist into the ground, unleashing a torrent of fire that incinerates the bandits. The entire cave begins to crack and split apart. Our girl, ever the drama queen, whips out a pair of shades, completely unbothered by the chaos. But her friend points out the very obvious danger. The ground is literally opening up beneath them. And just like that, our poor heroine plummets into the abyss. She screams for help as she falls into the darkness. Help me. She loses consciousness for a moment, hearing someone call her name. She wakes up after landing on something surprisingly soft. It turns out to be her friend, Feiyu, and she landed in a very compromising position. She scrambles off, apologizing profusely, while secretly geeking out over experiencing a classic romance trope. But surprise, Lord Chuen is also there, and our girl is now sitting right on his lap. He is not pleased. She absolutely loses it. He furiously tells her she'll be punished for sexually harassing royalty. But our shameless girl just admires her hand, calling it the blessed hand of God. She tries to de-escalate, suggesting they take stock of the situation. She even breaks the fourth wall, explaining they only survived the fall because physics apparently doesn't exist here. Lord Chuen, still blushing, snaps at her to figure a way out if she's so clever. He admits he used a secret technique to counteract the poison, but it's left him weakened. So basically, he was useless then and he's useless now. Great. Our girl sighs, figuring they're stuck down there for good. But it turns out the bandits survived, and they're about to drop massive boulders on their heads. As the girls huddle together in fear, Lord Chuen freaks out. He thinks our girl is trying to grope him again and tells her to back off. Suddenly, they all hear a strange rustling sound in the dark. Feiyu asks nervously if they heard that. Her eyes widen in fear. They look down into the darkness and see a horrifying sight. An entire sea of glowing red eyes staring right back at them. They've stumbled into a nest of monsters. It's a brief flashback to Lord Chuen's pampered life. He wakes up in silk sheets, is bathed and dressed by servants, and is an absolute diva about his clothing. He eats only the finest, most luxurious food. This pristine environment has given him a severe obsession with cleanliness, and his absolute greatest fear in the entire world is bugs. Back in the present, he's screaming his head off. Our absolute unit of a heroine is carrying both of them on her back while trying to escape. They're being swarmed by terrifying bone-eater ants. Lord Chuen has a complete meltdown and pulls out a bomb, deciding it's better to blow everyone up than be touched by a single bug. After a chaotic explosion, they finally catch a break, completely exhausted. Our girl pants, wondering if they got all the ants. Lord Chuen says he's too weak, but Feiyu has an idea. The ants are terrified of fire. There's just one tiny problem. There's nothing down here to burn. Feiyu's eyes land on Lord Chuen's ridiculously layered outfit, and a terrible, brilliant idea is born. He is utterly appalled by the suggestion that they strip him and burn his clothes. But our girl just gives him a look of grim determination. He protests that his fancy robes are flame retardant, so she savagely suggests they use his pants instead. The poor lord is mortified beyond beliefs, and so the trio ventures into the dark underground paths. Their only source of light is Lord Chuen's pants tied to a stick and set on fire. Our girl suddenly gets a massive sense of déjà vu. This scene, it was supposed to happen a whole month later. In the original story, Feiyu and an injured Lord Chuen were meant to get trapped in this cave alone. It was supposed to be a pivotal romantic scene for the main couple. They were meant to care for each other, building trust and blossoming love. But now, thanks to our girl's meddling, the Lord's pants are on fire and the entire romance plot is going up in smoke. She throws a tiny tantrum, blaming the cave for showing up early and ruining everything. But there's no time for that because the ants are back. She frantically waves the pants torch at the swarm of insects. Thankfully, the fire works and the creepy crawlies retreat. Lord Chuen breathes a sigh of relief. But as Feiyu points out, once the pants burn out, they're doomed. They hurry onward, Feiyu limping on her injured foot. She insists she's all right, but she's clearly struggling. Our girl points ahead, saying the real danger is Lord Chuen, who's just standing there trying to look elegant. She roasts him for posing while they are about to be eaten, and he petulantly demands she return his pants. Suddenly, Feiyu stops them. There's light ahead, she cries. In the distance, a massive glowing crystal illuminates the cave. It's beautiful and magical. That's Feiyu begins to say. But at that exact moment, the pants torch sputters and dies, plunging them into darkness. Our girl panics, but Lord Chuen just snarks that it's her problem now. The pitter-patter of thousands of tiny legs echoes through the cave. They're coming. The trio is trapped on a narrow ledge, and below them, the entire floor of the cavern is a writhing, seething sea of bone-eater ants. Lord Shuen is having a full-blown meltdown over his state of undress, while our girl is absolutely scandalized. But Feiyu, the only one with a brain cell right now, points to the ceiling. Miraculously, the swarm of monsters suddenly stops in its tracks. She realizes they're afraid of the moonlight peeking through a crack in the cave roof. Our girl immediately uses this chance to roast Lord Shuen about his underwear, much to his mortification. But their relief is short-lived as the hole is covered. The moment the light vanishes, the monsters are back with a vengeance and the trio is screaming for their lives. The moonlight peeks through again, illuminating the cave, and the monsters retreat once more. The three of them catch their breath, completely drained. But this chaotic back and forth isn't over, as the light gets blocked again and the monsters pull our girl down. It's bright again, then dark again. After this horrifying game of peekaboo, they're all completely exhausted. Feiyu says they can't go on like this. The hole is too small and the moonlight is too unreliable. She asks Lord Chuen if he can just blast the hole open with his powers. But he's still too weak. The only way is to climb a nearby pillar and use a bomb he conveniently has on him. Feiyu points out another problem. There's a mysterious glowing plant up there that could be poisonous. Our girl internally rolls her eyes. She's read this part of the story 3 times and knows exactly what that plant is. Feiyu, playing the part of the innocent heroine, claims she has no idea what it is, since she's new around here. Our girl seizes her moment to shine, explaining that it's a super rare moonlight grass, a key ingredient for antidotes and an important plot device for later. Lord Shuen is not impressed, he just wants out. He volunteers to climb the pillar but then remembers he's not wearing any pants. The horror dawns on him as he imagines our girl getting a full view from below. And our girl is just living for his panic. Absolutely not. He yells, shoving the bomb into her hands and telling her to go instead, much to her confusion. He shoves her towards the pillar, telling her to hurry before the light disappears again. As she starts to climb, he senses the monsters are coming back. He tries to use his powers to hold them off, but curses his slow recovery. He can only watch helplessly as he yells for her to climb faster. She's almost there, the precious drama prop just within her grasp. She grabs the moonlight grass, but her foot slips. She barely manages to hold on, thinking that only a dumb protagonist would actually fall right now. With the grass secured, it's time for the main event. She chucks the bomb with all her might, sending it flying towards the ceiling. She watches from her precarious perch as it arcs perfectly toward the hole. A massive explosion rocks the cave, blasting her right off the pillar. Our poor girl is sent plummeting towards the ground, her fate uncertain. Her friends can only watch in absolute terror. But just as she's about to hit the ground, a mysterious figure appears. A swirl of magic envelops her, stopping her fall midair. She floats gently to the ground, completely baffled. Feiyu rushes to her side, asking if she's okay. Our girl is confused, but relieved she managed to grab the moonlight grass. But then she looks up and sees the mysterious white-haired pretty boy, Bay Xiaoin, holding the other stalk. He coolly states that since he helped her, it's only fair he take one for himself. But the danger isn't over yet, the hole is still blocked. Our girl starts to panic about the monsters returning. Lord Chuen, having recovered a bit of his strength, steps up. With a single powerful blast, he shatters the remaining rock, looking incredibly smug. But in a moment of pure chaotic irony, a huge chunk of debris falls directly on our heroine's head. Her friends scream her name into the now open sky, staring at the giant hole in the ceiling. Some time later, our poor injured girl is writing down her new rules for survival. The #1 rule, stay away from the main characters. But how can she avoid the female lead without making her suspicious? Then a brilliant idea strikes. She knows from the novel that Feiyu's mother left behind a magical jade tome filled with secrets. This tome was Feiyu's secret weapon, her ultimate power-up item. If our girl can get that tome for Feiyu, the little bookworm will be so engrossed in studying that she'll have no time to drag her into any more life-threatening drama. With her new plan set, she rushes off to find her father and ask for the tome. But she runs headfirst into the last person she wanted to see. It's Bay Xiaoin, and he asks with a smirk if she's interested in the jade tome. The man is a walking plot device, and he looks way too pleased with himself. Our girl is frozen in shock, her mind completely blank. She slams the door right in his pretty face. The Grim Reaper is here, why is he haunting her? She's having a full-blown panic attack, wondering if he heard her talking to herself. Suddenly, the door cracks as he casually asks why she shut him out. He then proceeds to brute force his way into her room, terrifying our poor heroines. Cowering on the floor, she squeaks that it's inappropriate for him to be in a lady's room. He agrees that it is. Fair enough, he says with a grin. Then with a flick of his wrist, he magically yanks her right out of her room. Trying to keep her composure, she asks what this powerful man could possibly want with an ordinary lady like her. He just smiles and says he hopes she'll answer his questions honestly. His first question cuts right to the chase. Who is Gan Huiying? Our girl, thinking this is an easy one, excitedly explains that Gan Huiying is Fei Yu's famous alchemist mother. His internal monologue is just one thought: you know too much. Our girl's imagination runs wild, picturing him silencing her permanently for being a know-it-all. She's trembling. Why are these life or death questions? He leans in closer, asking his next question: how did she know about the moonlight grass? He points out that it took even the great senior Gan years to figure out its properties. How could she know? It was a trap. She stammers that she just read about it in some old book. A loud beep echoes in her mind. He reveals a mirror of truth, a lie detector he just used on her. He corners her, asking how she knows so much about everything, even his rare magical item. She's trapped. She can only tremble in silence. He picks her up like a sack of rice, and she's convinced she's about to die. He notes her lack of cooperation, and she starts screaming for help. In her struggle, she accidentally knocks his mask off. He clicks his tongue in annoyance, but his revealed face is devastatingly handsome as he calls her naughty. Just then Fei Yu arrives, hoping to visit Mr. Bay. She spots the two of them in a compromising position and freezes. Bay Xiaoin pins our girl against the wall, speculating that she must be Senior Gan's daughter to know so much. She frantically denies it, but the mirror of truth beeps again, exposing her lie. He sighs, saying it's a shame, and she thinks he's disappointed he doesn't have a reason to kill her. He gives her one last chance. Why do you want the jade tome? He gives her 3 seconds to answer or she dies. She panics, thinking he's just rushing to get it over with. She blurts out the honest, pathetic truth. She wants Fei Yu to get lost in studying so she'll leave her alone. The mirror beeps, confirming her story. He looks genuinely baffled. That's it. Our girl is equally baffled. Why does he look so bummed out that he can't murder her? He finally lets out a chuckle, concluding that the sisters must have a touching bond. He lets her go, apologizing for the trouble. She collapses to the ground in a heap of relief. She lives to see another day. The nightmare is over. But as he turns to leave, he smiles and says he has more questions and he'll visit again next time. Her face falls in utter horror. It's sudden death, part 2, and she's not ready. Meanwhile, Fei Yu watches from a distance, blushing and lost in thought, clearly having gotten the wrong idea about what just happened. In a hazy dream, a voice calls out to our girl Ningshuin. She looks around, wondering who could be calling her name in this starry void. A single spotlight shines down on her, and the voice says, "Look, Ningshuin, it's you." Maya, she wonders, completely confused. But the dream takes a horrifying turn as a bloody man appears, talking about homemade Ningxuan sauce. Our girl wakes up screaming. Just as she's calming down from the nightmare, there's a knock at her door. A maid announces an esteemed guest has arrived. Her blood runs cold. It must be Xiaoin here to finish the job. She dramatically prepares for her demise, bidding a farewell to the world. Her maids panic, trying to save her from her own chaotic meltdown. But wait, the maid clarifies the guest isn't Xiaoin. Our girl is instantly revived, realizing she can still live. The guest is His Highness Lord Shuen. Ningshuin is baffled. Did she forget a plot point? What could he possibly want? She quickly runs through her list of crimes against him. She got him thrown in a dungeon, literally hammered, touched his butt twice, and discovered his secret fear of bugs. Her conclusion: he's definitely here to silence her permanently. Her maid, ever the optimist, thinks he's just here to check on his fiancé. And that's when the light bulb goes off. Engaged? Oh, she can definitely use that. She remembers the original plot. Their arranged marriage was a huge stumbling block for the main couple. Getting in their way is a one-way ticket to a bad end. But now, she can use Lord Shuen's obvious hatred for her to call the whole thing off. This is her chance to escape. Fired up, she flies out the door to see him, completely forgetting she's still in her pajamas as her maid screams in protest. She arrives to find her father arguing with Lord Shuen, insisting his visit is inappropriate. Our girl is just getting dressed as she wonders what they're fighting about. She panics, thinking her dad is about to ruin her one chance at freedom. So she swoops in, grabs her dad, and loudly proclaims that there's nothing inappropriate at all. Lord Shuen gives her a withering look. He smirks and agrees, since she has no issue with it. Okay. Our girl is internally screaming with joy. Yes, call it off, call it off. But instead of breaking the engagement, her father puts a ridiculous pot-like helmet on her head. She is utterly speechless. What the heck is this? She demands. Lord Shuen smugly explains that since her head injury was kind of his fault, he brought her a helmet for protection. Kind of, she screeches. She absolutely loses it, yelling that the helmet is hideous and demanding to know if he's here to cancel the engagement or not. He coolly asks if she's really that eager to marry him. That's it, she snaps, I want you to call it off. She declares that the day they marry is the day she dies. Lord Chuen is shocked and furious. How dare she reject him? Her poor father tries to stop them as they get into a full-blown screaming match. They're both yelling, absolutely fuming at each other. He brings up their parents' promise, but she couldn't care less. They both scream, I'm never marrying you, followed by then call it off. She demands he sign an agreement to end it right then and there. His face turns purple with rage. But then in the most petty power move ever, he roars, I am not calling off the engagement, I will not be bossed around. He's literally too stubborn to give her what she wants, even though he wants it too. Our girl is left completely stunned. He then announces he has business to attend to and just walks out. He storms off, leaving our poor heroine and her father in a state of shock. She yells after him, wait a minute, what business? But he's already gone. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the estate, maids are gossiping about how attached Lord Shuen is to Miss Ningxuan, even giving her a huge gift. An older servant woman approaches Rong Feiyu, the original female lead, sympathizing with her for being replaced by a stray. She insists that the esteemed Lord Xuen should have been Feiyu's fiancé. Feiyu's eyes turn to ice, who told you to say that? The woman immediately panics, swearing she's just concerned. But Feiyu isn't having it, guards, she calls. The woman trembles as Feiyu stands, her expression unreadable. The guards arrive instantly. This woman has forgotten her place, Feiyu says coldly, beat her and cast her out. As the woman is dragged away screaming for mercy, Feiyu's little spirit companion appears. She knows this was a ploy by the branch families who think a country bumpkin is easy to manipulate. The spirit notes that this savage punishment doesn't fit her usual gentle image. The little guy then taunts her, asking if she really believes Ningxuan is kind. Feiyu scoffs, saying Ningxuan is far from the mindless villain people think she is. At least she didn't make me fall like you did, she retorts. The spirit nervously claims it was just a test. But Feiyu points out all the kind things Ningxuan has done, and the spirit still refuses to believe it. The spirit goes on a rant, finding it hilarious that a girl who grew up betrayed in the slums could ever trust anyone with genuine kindness. Fed up with its cynical nonsense, Feiyu smacks it across the room. Shut up, she yells, unleashing a powerful wave of energy. The spirit just laughs and proposes a wager. Let's see if that woman will actually help you. The stakes are set. Back with our girl, she's enjoying a blissful summer afternoon, getting a massage and chilling out. This is the life. She's finally found a place free from all the main characters and their drama. But her peace is shattered when she hears shouting from below. A group of girls are bullying Rong Feiyu. Our girl groans, so much for a relaxing spa day. She recognizes the ringleader as one of the original villain's evil henchmen. And she knows that in the story, these girls do not get a happy ending. Down below, Feiyu puts on an award-winning performance of a wounded damsel. But the bully isn't buying it, calling her trash just like her father. Our girl watches from above, almost impressed by this henchman's dedication. But in her moment of distraction, she bumps her watermelon bowl. It tips over the edge and lands with a perfect splat right on the bully's head. There is a moment of pure, stunned silence. Feiyu can't contain a small giggle which sends the watermelon-headed bully into a rage. Who did this? She's dripping wet, sticky, and absolutely furious. Our heroine is mortified. This is so awkward. Knowing they'll look up, she decides it's time to skedaddle. As the bully threatens her friends into silence, Feiyu looks up at the now empty window. A beautiful, genuine smile lights up her face. Oh, Ningxuan, it really was you, she whispers, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. Later, her little spirit companion is throwing a full-on tantrum. Lies, cheater, I didn't lose. But Feiyu calmly reminds it, I did win the bet. Just then, a maid arrives to summon her. As Feiyu leaves, the spirit asks why she has so much confidence in Ningxuan. Feiyu turns, a serene smile on her face. If it's all an act, she says, then let me be fooled for the rest of my life. But if it's genuine, I want to be with her forever and ever. Our girl comes back to find out she's supposed to be sharing a priceless family heirloom to practice cultivation with the female lead, and she is utterly confused. The elder calmly explains that Feiyu, the female lead herself, requested it. Ningshuin is still trying to process what happened while she was out dunking watermelons on people. She tries to politely decline, saying a priceless heirloom is way too much. But Feiyu grabs her hands, looking at her with stars in her eyes, thanking her for helping her out so many times. She insists that she just wants to share all her good things with our girl, pleading with her to accept. Ningxuan is practically melting, thinking this is a classic wholesome female lead moment and she's just happy to be a part of it. She's basking in the warm fuzzes when suddenly a panic knock shatters the peace. The butler bursts in, screaming that the second master is here with a whole posse, looking for a fight with the young miss. Both our girl and the female lead are completely blindsided. Outside, a man who clearly missed the memo on subtlety is yelling at her father. He's demanding justice for his supposedly humiliated daughter. Ningxuan's father calmly asks him to explain what's going on. The man accuses his offspring of bullying his daughter in public with plenty of witnesses. He threatens to dish out the punishment himself if her father won't, and Ningxuan starts to sweat, wondering if she should fess up. But before she can decide, the spoiled brat herself points a finger, calling her out for trying to hide. Turns out this girl did her homework, found out who booked the room, and is absolutely furious that Ningxuan had the guts to drop a watermelon on her and then dip. She points her finger and makes her demand. For humiliating her daughter, Ningxuan must kneel and apologize. Oh hell no! Her father immediately roars in protest, refusing to let his daughter kneel over such a trivial matter. Trivial, the second master scoffs, ranting about her tyrannical evildoing. He calls her a stray girl and powers up his cultivation, ready to discipline her himself. But her dad steps in front of her, declaring that no one has the right to punish his daughter. A massive explosion of spiritual energy rocks the courtyard. Both men are thrown back, but her father seems to take the worst of it. The second master smirks, noting that the old man is still kicking despite being poisoned for years. Seeing her father hurt, Ningxuan knows she has to step up. This is her mess, and she's the one who has to clean it up. She brushes off Feiyu's concerns, clearly done with all this drama. She steps forward with a simple, chaotic solution. Let's be reasonable. I dropped a watermelon on her so she can drop one on me, then we're even. The evil father-daughter duo exchange a sinister look. The girl grins wickedly and accepts the deal. She immediately yells for someone to bring her a watermelon. Ningxuan tries to play it cool for Feiyu's sake, acting like getting brained by a fruit is just another Tuesday. But then they roll out a watermelon the size of a small car. Our girl is internally screaming, wondering if fantasy worlds have a prize for most ridiculously oversized produce. The girl cackles and launches the prize-winning melon of the year straight at her head. It glows with a menacing aura as it hurtles towards her. Ningxuan braces for impact, realizing she's about to become the first transmigrator in history to be taken out by a watermelon. But just as it's about to connect, Feiyu secretly prepares to intervene. A kaboom! The watermelon explodes in a shower of red and green before it can reach her. When the smoke clears, our girl is standing there completely unharmed. She's confused, wondering if she just unlocked some secret superpower. Then a smooth, amused voice floats through the air, commenting on the cooling and sweet display. Her head whips around. It's him. The gorgeous, silver-haired man descends from the heavens, looking like a god who just came to watch the show. He smirks, saying the wrong manor has intriguing watermelons. As he lands, someone shouts, "Who goes there?" He gives them a charming smile. Me, I'm just a regular Joe who lives for drama. The second master nearly has a heart attack, realizing this regular Joe is a U-engine level fighter, a total powerhouse. The man just smiles and asks Ningxuan's father if he'd also prefer he didn't intervene. Her dad, bless his stubborn heart, clutches his chest and insists it's a family matter. Everyone is telling him to stay out of it, but you can see the annoyance in his eyes. Even the actual female Lade and her brother tell him to butt out. He clicks his tongue, calling them all frustratingly stubborn. And then in a flash, he appears right beside our girls, wrapping an arm around her. "You won't disappoint me, right?" He purrs, making her blush furiously. She's a stuttering, panicking mess. He offers his services, suggesting they string up the villains and bash them with 100 watermelons. Terrified by his chaotic energy, she squeaks, "Jade, just stay away." He gives her the most innocent smile, and then swooshes away, only to draw a massive magical line on the ground, trapping the villains on the other side. They scream in shock. From a safe distance, he waves, "How's that? This should be far enough." He plays dumb, pretending he thought she was talking about the villains, not him. "I'm your savior, why would I stay away?" He then leans in, saying that as her savior, he'd like to ask for a small favor. He gets dangerously close and whispers something in her ear. Her eyes go wide, and her jaw hits the floor in absolute, unfiltered shock. Meanwhile, in another room, Feiyu is getting an earful from her little spirit companion. It's yelling at her for almost exposing her powers to save Ningxuan. Feiyu has had enough and coldly tells it to shut up. The spirit is offended, but Feiyu is all business. It's time for it to give her what she's owed so she can attend a conference and restore its full power. She looks absolutely determined. Her thoughts turn dark as she remembers the trash that dared to attack Ningxuan. She clenches her fist, vowing to clean up this mess herself. Elsewhere, the watermelon girl is throwing a tantrum, smashing a table in rage. She's crying to her brothers about the powerful fighter who showed up and injured their father. Her brother tells her to stop crying. His eyes gleam with a sinister light as he promises her that soon enough, he'll make wrong Ningxuan her personal, lowly servant. Our girl whispers her demand, telling him to make an antidote for the moon-cleansing pill using moonlight grass. But he just dismisses her with a wave of his hand, saying it's hopeless and the poison is incurable. He's left completely speechless for a moment, before he suddenly bursts out laughing. He's actually impressed, noting that she's quite knowledgeable to know about both the pill and his unique poison. And just like that, our girl goes into full-blown panic mode. She was careless, she revealed too much. She frantically tries to think of a lie to mislead him. and then blurts out that he's just telling tall tales and she's not a child. But he's not buying it for a second. He smirks, telling her he needs her help and she'd better not disappoint him. Oh yeah, that's a threat. He then suggests she start learning how to cultivate, but before she can protest, Feiyu steps in. Feiyu sweetly declares that she will personally train our girl in the art of pill making. She'll take care of everything, so he won't have to worry about a thing. The guy is a little weirded out by this whole dynamic, but just shrugs it off. He gives them one last warning not to slack off before taking his leave, leaving the two girls alone. Feiyu immediately turns to our girl, all sparkles and smiles, ready to start their study schedule. Our poor heroine, on the other hand, looks like her soul has left her body. The study session begins, with Feiyu detailing the properties of various medicinal herbs. But our girl's brain is already short-circuiting. What's the difference between these two plums? She asks, completely lost. Feiyu, bless her heart, launches into an incredibly detailed explanation that goes on and on and on. Our girl just sits there, a tiny, confused blob, retaining absolutely nothing. Her mind is completely blank, madong what ma what plums. She finally begs her mentor to stop, and Feiyu apologizes for going too fast. The next day, Feiyu is bright-eyed and ready for another study session, only to be told by a maid that our girl already went out to spy on the enemy. Spying is one word for it. Our girl is actually just wandering the streets, complaining about how pill-making is harder than advanced calculus. She's more worried about the villains she just beat, especially the real problem, the older brother Rong Kuncheng. As she's monologuing about what a ruthless snake he is, a voice behind her sneers, "You've got some nerve talking about me behind my back." She freezes, stiff as a board, and slowly turns around. And there he is, the very man she was just trash-talking, Rong Kuncheng, looking smug as ever. His smile turns absolutely menacing. Without a second thought, our girl screams and runs for her life. He easily catches up, mocking her for thinking she could outrun him. She immediately switches tactics, screaming for help like a helpless damsel in distress. She really hams it up too. Just as he's about to grab her, a figure flies through the air and sends the creep flying into a wall with a savage kick. What a familiar, chaotic scene. Her rescuer lands, and it's none other than Lord Shuen. Their eyes meet, and they both recoil in disgust, shouting, "You again." Turns out, a few days ago, Lord Shuen had left the wrong manor feeling utterly defeated. He'd been drowning his sorrows in wine, filled with extreme regret over losing his temper with our girl. To blow off some steam, he decided to patrol the city. But the streets were frustratingly peaceful, and he couldn't find a single criminal to punish. Just then he heard our girl's cry for help, a troublemaker perfect. Without even looking, he launched his signature flying kick. And that brings us back to the present, with Lord Shuen staring down our girl, demanding to know who the man he just kicked was. The man in question is still face down on the pavement. Lord Shuen recognizes the bruised face of Rong Kuncheng, her cousin. In that moment, his brain connects the dots all wrong, and he comes to one glorious conclusion: honey trap. He points an accusing finger at her, shouting that she's teaming up with her cousin to scam him. He declares he won't fall for it again and literally runs away, leaving our girl trying desperately to explain. Now she's all alone with the furious, freshly assaulted villain. Rong Kuncheng, clutching his bruised face, runs off crying, promising to tell the elders. Our girl is left as the professional scapegoat, knowing those opportunistic elders will definitely take his side. Feiyu is shocked to hear the news, but she takes our girl's hands, promising to face whatever comes their way together. Oh, what a true friend. Our girl is so touched she starts crying, calling Feiyu her sweet angel. She pulls her into a hug, vowing to protect her. She knows her advantage is the plot, and she knows what these villains want. She'll have to borrow her father's power to deal with the elders. Later, Lord Shuen is refusing to see her, but his attendant relays her very specific message: "Give me 15 minutes and I won't bother you for a whole month." He contemplates this. A month of peace for 15 minutes of annoyance. The scales tip heavily in favor of the 15 minutes. He lets her in, telling her to get on with it. She starts by trying to clear up the misunderstanding with her cousin, but he couldn't care less. So she gets straight to the point. She's here to report her cousin's family for their crimes, and she wants to make sure her family isn't dragged into the punishment. He scoffs. What did they do? Tax evasion? She looks at him dead serious. Much worse. As she reveals the truth, his face drains of all color. He's completely stunned, asking if she has any idea the gravity of what she's just said. She calmly replies that she values her life too much to make up something like this. He grits his teeth and promises to investigate. Then he asks if that was her only reason for visiting. She smiles. Of course not, she has a favor to ask. The doors open and she brings Feiyu forward. Her demand is simple. After Feiyu wins the Flaming Pill Conference, she wants him to back her as the next matriarch of the Rong family. In the hallowed hall of the elders, Rong Kuncheng puts on the performance of a lifetime, begging for justice. He wails that a few days ago, our girl Rong Ningshuin ordered someone to beat up his father, and even he got a piece of the action. An elder raises a skeptical eyebrow, demanding to know if this is the whole truth. Kuncheng swears on his non-existent honor that he would never deceive the elders. That's all it takes for the second elder to fly off the handle, ranting about how spoiled and arrogant Ningshuin has become and that this calls for severe punishment. But the third elder, the voice of reason in this chaotic mess, suggests they pump the brakes and summon Ningxuan and her father to get the full story. The second elder isn't having it, accusing the patriarch of setting a terrible example for the clan. The third elder tries to argue but is immediately shut down. Enough, bellows the first elder, rising to his feet and silencing the bickering. He gives the final order, summon the patriarch and his daughter at once. Kuncheng can barely contain his glee, already counting the compensation money he's about to squeeze out of them. But his smug face freezes when he hears a voice. No need, we're already here. And in walk our girl and Feiyu's looking absolutely unbothered. The second elder immediately pounces. Perfect timing, is it true you injured him and his father? Kuncheng smirks, ready for her denial. But our girl just grins and says, yep, that's right, that's exactly what happened, leaving him utterly speechless. She looks so proud of herself he can't believe it. Is she nuts? All his carefully prepared evidence is now useless. The second elder points a trembling finger, declaring that since she's admitted it, she must be severely punished. Our girl's smile widens. You're absolutely right, second elder, those who harm a clan member must be punished. Then she whips around and points straight at Kuncheng. So, I hope you'll also punish his father for bringing henchmen to injure my father first. Kuncheng's jaw hits the floor, the Uno reverse card has been played. She then butters up the second elder, calling him a defender of justice, and suggesting both families accept their punishments. The first elder agrees, since both sides broke the rules, both will be punished. But he's not done, he turns his cold gaze on Ningxuan. He lectures her about how the wrong clan is famous for pill making, yet she's a total failure who knows nothing about the upcoming conference, calling her an embarrassment to her father. A girl just shrugs it off. Well, I'm not even his biological daughter. Is it really a surprise I didn't inherit his talent? Boom, the entire hall goes silent. She just dropped the family's biggest secret like it was nothing. Feiyu whispers her name in shock, but our girl is stone cold. They've said it behind our backs for years, this is nothing. She continues, stating that since she's not of wrong blood, she has no right to compete for the leadership position at the Flaming Pill Conference. The second elder starts salivating at the chance to push his own candidate, but our girl isn't finished. Of course, we must choose someone of wrong blood, my father's biological daughter, wrong Feiyu. She shoves a stunned Feiyu forward and the entire room explodes. That country bumpkins, you must be joking. Kuncheng doubles over with laughter. Have you lost your mind? The wrong family only allows the most skilled pill maker to become the patriarch. He sneers. The most skilled pill maker, you say? Our girl repeats, a dangerous glint in her eye. Then if I can prove Feiyu's talents surpass yours, that should settle it. He scoffs, and how will you do that? Wait a few decades. 5 months, she declares. At the Flaming Pill Conference in 5 months, she will defeat you and take the top spot. He calls her insane, but she just smirks. How about a wager, or are you scared? That hits a nerve. Scared as if, what could you possibly bet with? He demands. She goes all in. If you win, my father will give you the title of patriarch. The elders are absolutely floored by the sheer audacity. The third elder protests, shouting that the title isn't a child's plaything. But the greedy second elder is all for it, calling it a harmless wager. Just then, a smooth voice cuts through the chaos. Lord Shuen makes his grand entrance, a charming smile on his face. This wager does seem interesting, allow me to be the witness. Later, our girl's father, who's basically been a professional background actor this whole time, finally gets his main character moment. He's just heard about the insane bet. Our girl hangs her head, apologizing for her rash decision. She's expecting him to be furious. But instead, he transforms into the world's #1 hype dad. My daughters are giving their all, so their father won't slack off either. Spread your wings and fly, girls, Daddy's got your back. Our girl is completely baffled. There has to be a limit to spoiling your kids, right? She tries to talk about practical things like tutors, but he's already obsessing over competition outfits. Still, he promises to do everything he can to help. Everything turns out to be bringing them snacks while they study, serving them soup, and even calling in servants for a mid-study massage session. The girls have to literally slam the door in his face to get any peace. He sighs, thinking of his late wife. Suddenly, Lord Shuen appears out of nowhere, calling him out for trying to raise his daughter to be mediocre. Her father fires back that he just wants his girls to have a peaceful life, free from danger. Only the average may have peace, he argues. So what if they're useless? The most important thing is that they can live happily. Lord Shuen isn't buying this philosophy of escapism. He lays down the cold, hard truth. A useless person can't fight back when they are targeted. The weak cannot stand up for themselves. He then declares that if Ningxuan wants to be stronger, he will help her and her father can't stop him. And with that, he vanishes. Her father is left alone, clenching his fist, the words echoing in his mind. Meanwhile, our poor girl is passed out on her bed from all the studying. She realizes now that being a protagonist is hard work and wishes desperately that she were stronger. The next day, her father bursts in again, claiming he has useful things. The girls give him a look of pure distrust, which visibly breaks his heart, but he swears he's come to his senses. And he wasn't kidding. He unveils a massive stack of his old notes, every past paper from the conference, and a detailed dossier on this year's judges. This man went full-on cram school dad overnight. Memorize all of this and you'll get a good spot, he declares proudly. Our girl looks like her soul is leaving her body, but Feiyu seems genuinely intrigued. And so Ningxuan is once again drowning in exam prep, a feeling she knows all too well from her past life. A few days later, Dad announces it's time for some hands-on practice. He leads them to his personal pill-making chamber, which he's stocked with fresh herbs just for them. He explains that the key is precise control of spiritual energy and gives a flashy demonstration. A cool ball of green energy swirls in his hands. Our girl is totally starstruck. Fantasy worlds are so magical. He then invites her to try. Panic sets in. She's been memorizing books, not learning how to actually use spiritual power. But the original Ningxuan was a cultivator for years, so she can't just say, I don't know how. She has to fake it till she makes it. She puts her hands on the furnace as her father encourages her to go slowly, but the entire thing starts rattling like a washing machine on spin cycle. The servants of the wrong manor would later say they'd never forget the sound they heard that day. A massive kaboom. The entire roof of the ancient pill-making chamber completely blew up. So because of the pill-making furnace explosion, our girl Ningxuan was severely injured. She's wrapped up like a little mummy, and her poor father is suffering from severe emotional damage. But someone finds this absolutely hilarious. Senior Gan is literally dying of laughter, saying he hasn't heard anything this funny in over 10 years. Feiyu begs him to help heal Ningxuan, but my man cannot stop cackling. He finally gets a hold of himself and approaches our bandaged-up girl. He powers up his healing kai, but then his face gets all serious. Feiyu is immediately concerned, asking if Ningxuan's condition is really that bad. Psych, he just couldn't hold in his laughter anymore and nearly busted a lung. Our girl is absolutely seething under all those bandages. Amidst his hysterical laughter, he somehow manages to heal most of her injuries, but Ningxuan is not feeling one bit of gratitude for the guy who laughed at her pain the entire time. He even throws in a savage parting shot, offering to get her a sturdier furnace for the competition. Once he's gone, the room finally returns to normal. Feiyu rushes to her side, asking if she's okay. But our poor girl is just overwhelmed with guilt, apologizing for messing up and potentially ruining Feiyu's chances at the competition. Feiyu just looks at her and asks a simple question, why? Why does Ningxuan think she can get a good ranking? She's just a girl from the countryside with little knowledge. Why does she believe she can defeat all the other geniuses? Our girl almost blurts out because you won in the drama, but quickly pivots to a much more believable prophetic dream. She predicts a bright and glorious future for Feiyu, who is completely moved by her words. She's at a total loss for words. And then, with renewed vigor and fire in her eyes, she declares she'll go memorize 20 more books. Fighting spirit activated. With Feiyu gone off to study, our girl is left alone with her thoughts, and that inner guilt is eating her alive. She spirals, wondering why her skills are so terrible that she blew up a furnace. She's number one at being a dead weight, and she knows it. She desperately tries to think of something she can do to help. And then it hits her, are there any plot elements she can take advantage of? She remembers that in the original story, the male lead had a huge advantage over Feiyu, the purity of his pills. Feiyu was skilled, but she barely lost because her pill wasn't as pure, only winning later through sheer blind luck. So if Feiyu can increase her medicine's purity, they can secure a victory. But how can she help with that? Increase, purify, and suddenly a light bulb goes off over her head. She's not sure if it will work, but she's got to try something. Several days later, Feiyu is hard at work, honing her spiritual energy. Her control is getting stronger and stronger. Her father praises her progress but tells her not to get complacent. And look who's back. Senior Gan rewards her with a brand new, high-quality pill-making furnace. But this chaotic man has one more request. He wants to see the destroyed pill-making chamber again, just for laughs. Lord Rong shows him the wreckage, a hole still gaping in the roof. He suddenly gets very quiet. Lord Rong asks if he's discovered something, and Senior Gan says he's found something very interesting indeed. Meanwhile, our girl is celebrating her own huge steal, having gathered a massive bag of herbs. Using her modern knowledge, she's actually managed to distill hydrolate and essential oils. Science, baby. She's so glad she saved up to buy all the necessary devices. Outside the Wrong Manor's kitchen, the servants are on high alert. The entire place is under close guard. And it's all because of the dangerous person in the kitchen. Our girl Ningshuin, who's just trying to MacGyver a cooling pipe for her experiment. She has no idea if this will work, but she's giving it her all. Feiyu shows up after hearing all the crashing and banging. She offers to help, and Ningxuan declares it's perfect timing. She has an experiment she wants to try. Feiyu, ever the loyal friend, offers to get protective gear, clearly unafraid of another explosion. But Ningxuan tells her there's no need because Feiyu is the one doing the pill making. Feiyu gets to work with the new furnace. She expertly draws out the properties from the flower petals and fruit, and combines them all with her spiritual energy to complete the pill. Wow, as expected of the female lead, she's a natural. But Feiyu admits that since she's still a beginner, she can't increase the medicine's potency yet. Which is exactly what our girl was thinking. Let me show you what I got, she says, getting real close. Feiyu is understandably flustered. The resulting pill has far fewer impurities. Feiyu is absolutely floored, demanding to know what kind of secret technique this is. Hee, our girl smirks, that's the power of science. Feiyu explains how impurities affect a pill's potency, and our girl drops a massive knowledge bomb explaining her makeshift distillation setup. Master physics and chemistry and you will master the world. Feiyu can't believe it. She grabs Ningshuin, asking if she has any idea what kind of impact this will have. Our girl is just like, huh. Feiyu tells her this technique will revolutionize pill making and that she must never leak it or she'll be in grave danger. But Ningshuin just smiles, relax, I only told you. Right through the heart, Feiyu is so touched she promises to never leak the secret. But she brings up a valid point. They need better equipment as the current setup is only half as pure as it could be. They need a business partner who can create intricate devices and has power. And in a moment of pure telepathy, they both think of the same person. Besides doling out justice, Lord Shuen has another hobby, jade sculpting. And he is not happy to hear that that woman is here again, breaking her promise not to bother him. His poor attendant is caught in the middle, but the Lord relents. Tell her she has 15 minutes. He immediately asks what new problems she's brought him this time. Our girl activates full-on bullshit mode, pitching a revolutionary invention. But he's having none of it, savagely asking if it's the same technique that blew up her furnace. She's flustered, how did you know about that? She tries her best to explain the purification technique, but Lord Shuen remains skeptical, saying he can't see much of a difference between the two pills she brought. And that's why she needs his help. She knows about his sculpting expertise and wants him to carve a device from a crystal based on her blueprints. She presents a massive, sparkling crystal, explaining how complicated the procedure is. So she wants him to build her a tool. The tension is thick. He absolutely loses it. Who do you think I am? I'm the Lord of Shanghong, not some lowly sculptor. Our girl quickly backpedals with flawless logic. Of course, you're a tool, I mean an important business partner. No one else could do it. He has absolutely no comeback for that chaotic energy. She lays it on thick, saying if he won't do it, she'll find someone else. And with a frustrated fine, he caves. Our girl walks out feeling like a total boss, proud that she's not an embarrassment to transmigrators. But as she's heading off for a well-deserved nap, a voice stops her. It's Senior Gan, and he's been waiting for her, holding something glowing in his hand. And of course, who should be waiting for her but the suspiciously handsome and powerful Senior Bay. Our girl immediately realizes she walked right into a trap. Her brain short-circuits as she cycles through every possible escape plan, all of which end in certain doom. She tries to calm her racing heart, telling herself he just healed her, he wouldn't do anything, right? Putting on her best poker face, she greets him with a sweet smile and asks why he was looking for her. He gets straight to the point, saying he just wants to confirm a few minor things. His eyes darken as he reveals he suspects she might be dangerous. And that sly, predatory grin tells our girl this is anything but a friendly chat. She laughs it off nervously, trying to play dumb. But he's not buying it. He holds up a shard from the pill cauldron, noting it contains a violent power he's never seen before. He then goes on a whole tangent about how he knows 90% of everything about cultivation. And with a chilling gaze, he says her surprises just keep coming, basically threatening her to spill her secrets. That's her cue to run. But before she can even take a step, glowing blue chains shoot out and wrap around her entire body. She's dragged through the air, completely helpless. He pulls her close, his face inches from hers, and purrs that he's just going to do a quick physical checkup. Yikes. Our girl's mind is racing. A checkup, what does that even mean? She's having horrific visions of him literally dissecting her to see what's inside. This is it. This is how she dies. He holds up his hand, a menacing glow emanating from it. Now be a good girl, he says, it'll be over soon. With a hum of energy, he begins scanning her body from head to toe. After a moment of terror, she realizes he's just doing a magical ultrasound. But her relief is short-lived as his face contorts in absolute shock. He looks at her, his eyes wide. Our girl panics, thinking he found out he knows I'm a QE clan member, I'm done for. But then he blurts out, amazing, what kind of crap cultivation talent do you have? He's baffled that even the butler is better than her. Our girl is just speechless at this savage roast. He continues, noting that despite her trash-tier talent, her body contains a mysterious power. He demands to know where it and all her secret knowledge came from. He wants all the tea right now, and she is still very much chained up. Thinking fast, she blurts out the most ridiculous lie she can think of. I'm actually crazy talented and can predict the future. He immediately shoots her down with a deadpan. I don't believe you. Welp, that didn't work. This guy is a walking lie detector. Desperate, she tries to remember a plot point from the drama she can use to distract him. She remembers that in the story, this chaotic man has a massive soft spot for Feiyu. That's it, she'll use his one weakness against him. She puts on her best concerned sister act, tears welling up in her eyes. Senior Bay, I could never harm Feiyu. I must have a death wish if I ever harmed her. The temperature in the air immediately drops. He glares, asking who had the audacity to suggest such a thing. It's working. She keeps the act going, telling him that Feiyu respects him so much and that there's no way an arranged marriage could ever happen. He scoffs, but she can tell she hit a nerve. Feiyu is indeed my one and only, he says, his expression softening. He gets a serious look on his face as he finishes his sentence. A most important niece. Record scratch, our girl is completely frozen, her brain buffering. That's right, folks, a family reunited, he's her uncle. He looks at her utterly confused face and asks why she's so disappointed. He then declares that for his niece's sake, he'll turn a blind eye to her secrets for now. But he issues a terrifying warning. If she ever does anything to harm Feiyu, he won't be so forgiving. Our girl's survival instincts are screaming, and she promises to be a model citizen from now on. He seems satisfied, then pulls out a suspicious-looking pill. Just eat this, he says. She immediately freaks out, yelling it's poison. He just laughs and with a flick of his wrist shoves the pill right down her throat. She starts screaming, convinced she's about to die. He casually tells her to relax. She's not going to die immediately. It's just a little insurance policy to make sure she behaves. With that, he bids her farewell and vanishes. Our girl is left there seemingly defeated. She slowly collapses to the ground, but then she stands up, a smug look on her face. Poison pill, my foot, I've seen through it all as someone who knows the plot. Turns out it was just a jelly bean. She cackles, proud of her Oscar-worthy acting. She realizes he hasn't discovered her Kui clan bloodline yet, otherwise she'd be dead. So for now, she's safe. No getting turned into homemade sauce for her. The next morning, she's happily stuffing her face with buns when her maid mentions that Lord Chuan's roof got bombed last night. Our girl immediately spits out her food in a rainbow of shock. She tries to play innocent, wondering who could have possibly done such a thing while internally screaming it was Zayachin. Meanwhile, at Lord Chuan's manor, he is absolutely furious, ordering his men to search for the culprit. He fumes that the perpetrator was an expert, leaving before he could even sense their spiritual energy. He then asks his subordinate for an update on the investigation into the wrong family's second elder, who's been acting shady. The subordinate confirms the elder is buying strange herbs with unknown funds, but needs more time to investigate. Lord Shuen starts putting the pieces together. Our girl was right about the elder being suspicious, and then he remembers the blueprints she gave him. A brilliant idea begins to form in his mind. He tells his subordinate to stake out the elder's residence. A cunning smile spreads across his face. Who knows, he says, we may find something after a few days. A few days later, Lord Chuen comes through, delivering the distillation equipment our girl asked for. She's absolutely ecstatic, gushing over how perfect it is. But this handsome devil isn't doing it for free. He smoothly says one good turn deserves another, and he has a little favor to ask. He wants her to plant a bug in the second elder's room. Our girl is completely floored by the request. Lord Chuen gives her a stern look, reminding her of the deal they made. He drops some serious intel. The second elder is only pretending to support the first prince when he's secretly allied with their rival, the fourth prince. Not only that, he's planning to tamper with a pill meant for the first prince, and they need hard proof of his evil intentions. He figures that since she's a wrong, she can easily get into the residence. Our girl starts sweating bullets. She already knows all of this because she has the script to this whole drama. It's a complicated mess of alliances and enemies, and they're all tied together on this chaotic boat, whether they like it or not. Welp, no turning back now. She arrives at the elder's residence ready to risk it all. The bug he gave her is actually a squishy, transparent spiritual device, pretty high-tech for a fantasy world. She starts looking for the second elder's place, planning to play dumb if she gets caught. But her stealth skills are zero because she's busted in less than 5 seconds. It's the third elder, and he wants to know why she's here. She quickly cooks up a lie about just taking a walk. Phew, that was close. The third elder buys it and asks her to deliver something to her father. And by something, he means a soul-crushing tower of reference books for poor Feiyu. Our girl can't help but think her dad and the third elder share the same single, sadistic brain cell when it comes to studying. He tells her to make herself at home while he pops into the storeroom. Seeing what a kind, loyal person he is, she decides to have a little look around. She admires some unique flowers in his backyard, and a helpful servant informs her the third elder cultivated them himself. When she points to some other flowers in the distance, the servant casually mentions that's the second elder's yard. Bingo, opportunity is knocking. She quickly tells the servant she's going for a look and dashes off before he can object. She finds the place, but of course there are guards. Looks like she'll have to find a less conventional way in. She spots a decorative window, easily dismantles it, and slips through like a graceful, law-breaking cat. A stealth mission success. Even better, the inner window is wide open. She reaches in, sticks the little spiritual bug to the frame, and bam, mission accomplished. But just as she's celebrating her win, the door creaks open. It's the second elder himself, and he does not look happy to have a visitor. His eyes narrow as he recognizes her, and he demands to know why she's there. He screams at her for sneaking around his house, threatening to discipline her with a wooden rod. Our poor girl is completely surrounded by his angry guards and realizes she is in deep, deep trouble. But just as things look hopeless, a voice rings out. It's the third elder coming to her rescue. He scolds the second elder for publicly shaming a younger family member. He gently tells our girl to just explain what's going on. But she's panicking. How can she possibly tell him she was planting a listening device? Before she can think of a lie, the second elder's smarmy head lackey steps forward, claiming he knows exactly why she's here. The third elder is furious at his disrespect, but the second elder smugly allows it. Our girl's mind races. How could this guy possibly know about Lord Shuen's plan? Is he a mole? The lackey points a finger and accuses her of trying to steal the second elder's secret pill-making books. Our girl is flabbergasted. Lady, she is drowning in books. Why would she steal more? He spins a tale about how she must be trying to gain an advantage for Feiyu in their wager. The second elder seizes the opportunity, questioning how such a devious family could lead the clan. Oh, she is not having it. Our girl unleashes her fury, calling him out for judging her based on the words of a servant. How can he command respect with such tyrannical behavior? But the lackey fires back with a killer question. If she's so innocent, why did she sneak in through the window? She's completely cornered. Thinking fast, she blurts out the most ridiculous excuse. She saw the wind blow a piece of clothing into the yard and was just trying to put it back. And the third elder, the sweet, naive man, totally buys it. The lackey isn't convinced and orders a search of the courtyard. Our girl's heart sinks. It's over. She's doomed. But then a guard returns holding a woman's red bodice. Everyone is stunned, especially our girl. This was not in the script. But a true queen adapts. She decides to give them a taste of their own slanderous medicine. Turning on the waterworks, she confesses that she was trying to protect the second elder's reputation because he secretly likes to wear women's undergarments. She can barely hold back her laughter as pure chaos erupts. The second elder is apoplectic, screaming for the guards to punish this insolent girl. The third elder tries to mediate, but the second elder is losing his mind, insisting he doesn't have that kind of fetish. The lackey grabs the bodice to inspect it and freezes. He recognizes the name embroidered on it, Lunini. The third elder knows that name too. It's the lackey's brand new wife. The servant looks like he's been struck by lightning. The second elder frantically denies everything, but the damage is done. The betrayed husband starts screaming, demanding to know what the second elder did to his ninny. The two villains are now at each other's throats. A girl and the third elder just stand back and watch the beautiful disaster they've created. And just like that, she single-handedly shattered the villain's alliance. Later, Lord Shuen's spies report back, leaving him utterly baffled. The second elder and his servant got into a massive fight over a bodice. The second elder is absolutely losing it, screaming, "You useless piece of trash." He slams his hand on the table, furious that his spy, who was only in place for a month, already got discovered and kicked out. His face is a mask of pure rage. Not a single word of valuable intel, he seethes. Why am I even keeping you around? His poor subordinate is trembling on the floor, begging for his life. He tries to explain that the spy was supposed to hide in the backyard, which is usually empty, but the guards suddenly decided to search it. The elder demands to know how they were discovered so fast. Just then, another servant bursts in, shouting that someone must have helped the other side. He reasons that the target is a cranky old man, so there's no way he's professional enough to find a spy on his own. Someone intervened. The elder muses, deciding to give his minion one more chance to get to the bottom of this. His eyes narrow with a cold, murderous intent. If there was someone a hand in this, he vows, I'll cut off every hand they stick into our business. Meanwhile, our girl is peacefully cultivating her power, creating a perfect, glowing pill. Her friend gushes over her latest creation, exclaiming that the quality is even better now. She then mentions hearing a huge commotion over at the second elder's place yesterday. Our girl just gives a knowing smile. Her friend, however, looks totally scandalized, thinking about all the juicy gossip. She leans in and whispers that some things are better left unknown before inviting our girl to the herbal trade street to restock. Ningxuan happily agrees. Her friend is ecstatic for a moment, but then her eyes widen in sudden realization. The herbal trade street is where the plot kicks off with the first prince. She practically swoons just thinking about the super wholesome first prince. In the original drama, this is where the villainess Feiyu saves the prince from a scam artist, totally winning him over. It was a major event that helped clear her name later. Panicking, she realizes she can't go and risk messing up the plot. so she quickly makes up an excuse, telling our girl she has to prepare something for Lord Shuen. Our girl looks a little surprised but understands. Awa, look at her sad little face. Her friend feels a pang of guilt for ditching her cute sister. They promise to go together next time, and our girl decides to just wander around the market by herself. She arrives at the bustling herbal trade street. Her little spirit companion immediately starts nagging her to get to work and keep an eye out for their target. All right, quit yapping, she replies with a smile. The spirit starts scanning the area, pointing out a conman here, and a rich-looking guy over there who it guesses must be royalty because of all the guards. And speak of the devil, a sleazy merchant is trying to sell a century-old turtle shell to that very same rich guy. It's the first prince right on schedule. The prince seems intrigued by the shell's color, but as he inspects its age, it shatters in his hand before he even properly touches it. The merchant immediately starts the waterworks, crying about his precious artifact. What have you done? He wails, demanding 10 gold pieces as payment. The prince is baffled, insisting he didn't even touch it, but the merchant isn't listening. That is, until a clear voice cuts through the chaos, offering a measly 10 coppers for the trash. The merchant spins around, ready to curse out whoever just spoke, and finds our girl standing there holding a piece of the broken shell. Those shells are worth 10 gold, she says coolly, but why would a forgery cost that much? The merchant starts sputtering, insisting it's an authentic shell with a pattern that can't be forged. Our girl agrees that the pattern is unique, but she noticed the shell smells like grass and has green tints underneath. She calls him out, guessing he faked its age by dunking a young shell in grass juice. He shouts that she's bluffing and has no proof. I may not have proof, she says with a smirk, but white vinegar can remove the coloring, why don't we test it? If she's wrong, she'll pay him double, checkmate. The merchant sweats bullets and makes a run for it. With the drama over, our girl turns to leave. But the first prince stops her. He thanks her for her help and asks for her name, wanting to visit her home to properly thank her. She plays it cool, saying she just hates swindlers and that no formalities are needed. As she walks away, the prince notices the unique embroidery on her purse. It belongs to the wrong family. He puts 2 and 2 together. She must be the rumored ignorant country bumpkin daughter of wrong hands who is clearly anything but ignorant. He calls his subordinate over. He orders the vendor to be investigated and arrested, then asks about the girl. He smiles to himself, completely charmed. The rumors about her were clearly just hearsay. Her spirit companion grumbles about her being a nameless heroine, getting all huffy, but our girl explains she didn't need to give her name because she already knew who he was. His headpiece was made of a special jade that stores spiritual energy, a treasure only royalty would wear so casually. Plus, he looked a bit like Lord Shuen. It was elementary, he's the first prince. The spirit is still doubtful, but she explains that the other princes are either out of town or not nearly as polite. Suddenly, the spirit senses a familiar, unpleasant aura. It's the second elder and he's heading right for them. The spirit points him out, noting the huge bags under his eyes. A wicked smile plays on our girl's lips. She was looking for a way to lure him into a trap, and here he is, walking right into it. Let the show begin. She approaches him with a polite smile, second elder. She claims it's a coincidence they met while she was searching for herbs and greets him on her father's behalf. The old man just scoffs at her. I've seen enough of the patriarch's daughters, he sneers, striding right past her. As he passes, our girl lets out a tiny, almost inaudible giggle. But he hears it, he freezes, a dark energy radiating from him. He whirls around, his face contorted with rage. Were you laughing at me? She puts on her best innocent face, blinking owlishly. Huh, I didn't, why would you say that? He absolutely explodes, calling her a B-word and saying she's just like her sister. The crowd gasps. Our girl feigns shock and hurt. Second elder, I've done nothing wrong. Why are you insulting my father? The elder, now completely unhinged, accuses her of mocking him and orders his guards to drag her away and punish her with a wooden rod. You're bullying me because I'm younger, she cries out. As the guards close in, her spirit whispers a backup plan. If you think I'm too slow, burn it yourself. The elder screams at his men to hurry up and grab the insolent girl. A guard lunges, but she expertly dodges, causing him to smash right into the bridge's wooden railing. With a dramatic scream, she loses her balance and tumbles over the edge. Chaos erupts on the bridge. Splash, she hits the water below. Somebody help her, the crowd shouts. But underwater, our girl is perfectly calm, a smirk on her face. The elder is so gullible, this scandal is going to ruin his righteous reputation. Her plan is to gather evidence of his abuse and hand it right to the first prince. She peacefully floats, knowing the prince's secret guards must have seen everything. His carefully crafted image is about to shatter. Just as she expects, someone dives into the water to rescue her. But wait, that's not a man, it's a woman. It's her friend, Ningshuin, she cries out in shock. Our girl remembers her childhood, a lonely and rainy existence with one tiny wish: to hold onto anything good that came her way and never, ever let it go. Back then, she was just another orphan in a den of thieves, forced to steal to survive. And their boss was a real piece of work, screaming at the kids for not bringing back enough loot. He grabs one of the boys, demanding to know where the rest of the money is. The kid bursts into tears, swearing he didn't hide anything. But this monster doesn't care about the truth. He smacks the boy across the room, telling him he's not getting any dinner. Our heroine watches from the corner, her eyes cold and empty. The poor kid is left groaning on the floor. In a rare moment of kindness, she sneaks him a piece of food she'd saved. The boy wolfs it down so fast she has to shush him. But it's too late. A creak at the door signals they've been caught. The boss bursts in, absolutely furious. And what does the little rat do? He immediately sells her out. The betrayal is instant and total, and our girl is completely stunned. The man's rage turns on her, screaming at the damned girl not to run. But she's already out the door, running for her life into the pouring rain. The man gives chase for a second, but quickly gives up. He scoffs, figuring the storm will take care of her. He's convinced an unwanted brat like her won't be able to survive out there alone. And our poor heroine is left sobbing, abandoned in the dark woods. Some time later, a kind-looking woman finds her passed out in a pile of hay. She's weak and starving, collapsed on the ground. The woman offers her a warm bun, and though she's wary, her stomach gives her away with a loud growl. She timidly accepts the food. The woman asks how she got there, assuming her parents must be worried. Our girl flatly states she has no parents, that she's never seen them. The woman apologizes and notices her injuries. She offers to let our heroine stay with her until she's healed, even though she's not rich. For the first time, someone is showing her kindness, and our girl is so moved she can barely whisper her thanks. But that night, the kindness is revealed to be a trap. The woman leads the cruel boss right to her hiding spot. He yanks away the hay, but she's gone. He's furious, demanding to know where she is. The woman insists she was there, but our girl has already overheard them and is on the run again. They spot her heading for the woods. The chase is on. She runs blindly through the forest, her mind racing in panic. Why was she betrayed again? As she sprints, her foot catches on a tree root. She loses her balance and tumbles right off the edge of a cliff. She hits the ground hard, her head bleeding and the world spinning. This is it, she thinks. She's going to die on a stupid rainy day. But as her blood pools on the ground, it touches a strange, broken artifact. A sinister purple energy begins to swirl, and a voice whispers that it hasn't had blood this tasty in ages. A creepy purple flame spirit appears, asking if she's still alive. It can see she's dying, and it has an offer. The spirit's voice echoes in her mind, reflected in her fading eyes. Do you want to live? Meanwhile, back at the hut, a group of thugs are harassing the woman and her own young daughter. It turns out the woman's husband gambled away all their money, and they're here to collect. The woman begs for more time, but the men are about to get violent. Suddenly, a terrifying purple aura explodes from the doorway. It sends the thugs flying. The mother and daughter tremble as they see who's standing there. It's our girls back from the dead and radiating pure chaotic energy. The woman stares in shock. Our heroine's voice is chillingly calm as she asks a single question: why? The woman confesses everything: her husband's debt, the threat to her own daughter. Our girl's response is absolutely savage. So you'd hurt another child to save your own. The woman shields her child, begging our heroine to take her instead. A ball of dark energy forms in our girl's hand. She unleashes a massive blast that shakes the entire building. But when the dust settles, the mother and child are completely unharmed. Our heroine stands in the doorway, her back to them. You fed me once, she says, so I won't hurt you this time. But she gives them a final, terrifying warning. If she ever sees them again, there will be no mercy. The purple spirit is absolutely livid, screaming that they should have been sacrifices. In that moment, our girl remembers her one desperate wish. She just wanted someone to give her a little warmth. Someone to hold her hand through the storm. She wanted someone to protect her, even if they had to be selfish to do it. All she ever wanted was to be loved. The spirit doesn't care about her tragic backstory. It attacks her, wrapping its tendrils around her throat and threatening to use her blood instead. It tightens its grip, choking the life out of her. But even now, our girl has some fight left in her, cheekily asking if it wouldn't be a waste to kill her after saving her. Annoyed by her insolence, the spirit slams her into the ground. It warns her never to disobey again, or she'll feel pain worse than falling off that cliff. After that, the spirit left behind a little servant, a purple demon, to keep an eye on her. This little guy could sense emotions like greed, fear, and anger, which was a pretty useful power to have. For years, she lived as a tool, her life not her own. But one day, a mysterious man in a veiled hat appeared. His name was Bay Xiaoin. For some reason, her little demon was absolutely terrified of him. Stranger still, this man claimed he would take her back to her real parents. Our girl was filled with a sudden, boiling rage. If she was some rich girl, why had she suffered her whole life? For a moment, she wanted to scream at him. But in the end, she accepted it all because she had neither a reason nor the power to refuse. On the carriage ride, the little demon teases her about being nervous. She tells him to get lost, but he just laughs, saying he'll be there to comfort her if her evil daughter bullies her to tears. It was annoying having her thoughts read, but what was worse was the humiliating truth. She still held onto that naive, childish wish for a family. When they arrive, she sees her supposed father and sister, and they're incredibly close. she already feels like an outsider. She sizes them up, ready for a fight. With that in mind, she reaches out her hand. But suddenly, the sister shoves her back, yelling, "Get back." Our girl is completely baffled. Why would she do that? It's because the demon in the form of a dog was about to bite her. The sister took the hit instead. She protected her. Our heroine is stunned, wondering if it was all an act for their father. But then it happened again when they were attacked by bandits. And again when she fell, the sister always protected her. From that moment on, she never left her side, just like she's doing right now in the present, protecting her underwater. Our girl realizes that her wish, the one she thought was impossible, has come true. She doesn't know if this kindness is real or fake, a coincidence or a plan, but she doesn't care. She finally has what she wished for, and she's going to hold on to it and never let go. The wind is so strong today. Our poor girl finds herself on horseback, completely lost and confused. How did she even get here? Well, just minutes ago, she was living her best life, enjoying all the delicious street food this new world had to offer. After devouring some tasty meatballs, she wondered what to do next when she noticed a commotion nearby. Some locals were whispering about something strange, and then she saw it, a figure on a horse draped in a sheet like a cheap Halloween ghost. The shock was so real, she dropped her precious meatballs. And who is this mysterious ghost? It's none other than Lord Shuen. He's absolutely flabbergasted that she saw through his perfect disguise. Our girl is just not impressed. She points out that literally anyone could tell it was him, especially since the horse has the exclusive seal of his residence on it. Lord Childish realizes he's been exposed. Welp, so much for being sneaky. He decides there's no choice but to get it over with. Our girl has no idea what he's talking about. With no time to explain, he snatches her up and drags her onto his horse. She wails in protest, not for her safety but for her fallen meatballs, a true tragedy. As they gallop away, he finally explains, "This is about the first prince and it's urgent. Apparently that snake Rong Maojie is plotting something, and they have to find out what he's up to. Lord Shuen is worried Rong Maojie is also here." But our girl isn't fazed. When you know the plot, you feel no fear. She figures the guy is just trying to suck up to the prince. She decides to just go with the flow and see what happens. The duo rushes over to the herbal trade street, with Lord Shuen still rocking his ridiculous ghost costume. She spots Rong Maojie on a bridge, and it looks like his men have someone surrounded. As they get closer, she recognizes the lady in trouble. It's Fei Yu, the female lead. Our girl immediately tries to get Lord Shuen to play the hero. But he's being difficult. He claims it would be inappropriate since he's not close to her. Our girl has a full-blown internal meltdown. "Dude, that's your future wife?" She realizes with horror that the plot has gone completely off the rails. The main couple hasn't had their fated meeting yet. Just as she's panicking, there's a huge splash. Someone fell off the bridge. Of course, it's Fei Yu, the girl in green. Our girl rushes to the railing, wondering what to do. But as she leans against it, the old wood starts to crack. Before she can even scream, the guardrail shatters completely. Another unlucky girl goes tumbling into the water. And just like that, our heroine has become a part of the chaos. Well, since she's already in the water, she might as well save the female lead. She swims over and grabs the unconscious Fei Yu. She emerges from the water, a soggy hero. She pulls Fei Yu out of the water and immediately realizes the girl is just faking it, waiting for the male lead's heroic rescue hug. But a moment later, a terrifying thought crosses her mind. What if Fei Yu actually drowned? Panicking, she decides there's only one thing to do. She puckers up, ready to perform CPR. But just as she's about to make contact, Fei Yu's eyes fly open. Before our girl can process this, a voice thunders, "What are you doing?" It's Lord Chuen and the first prince, looking absolutely scandalized at the scene. She frantically tries to explain that she was just saving his future wife with a special technique. The first prince, however, is surprisingly calm and orders Lord Chuen to send the ladies back to his place to recover. He then smiles at our girl, telling her not to worry and to go home before she catches a cold. He's so considerate and handsome, our girl is completely smitten. What a good man. The first prince watches them leave, then turns to the fuming elder Rong. He promises to investigate everything thoroughly, assuring him that no good man will be framed and no evil one will go unpunished. Elder Rong can only bow and take his leave, grumbling about how much trouble Ronghan's family is. The prince is left alone with his thoughts, and a newfound appreciation for girl-on-girl action, apparently. Meanwhile, in another palace, the second prince is furious. His spy's cover was blown because our girl somehow intercepted the intel meant for him. How did she get to the pickup point if she wasn't part of the plan? He fumes about his brother, the first prince, and now he's angry that our girl is working for him. He decides he'll deal with her at the upcoming Flaming Pill conference. Back at the residence, our girl is deep in thought. She feels like Fei Yu has been acting a little weird lately. A little too enthusiastic, even. Fei Yu has been showering her with gifts, homemade snacks, beauty enhancement pills, and new clothes, and even offering to tutor her. It's so overwhelming our girl's soul is trying to escape her body. She knows Feiyu is just grateful, but it's stressing her out. She remembers Lord Xuan's words about not being close to Feiyu, and she's consumed by guilt. She's the one who obstructed their beautiful first love. The male and female leads are basically strangers, and it's all her fault. Desperate to fix things, she decides to ask Feiyu directly what she thinks about Lord Xuan. Feiyu puts on the most textbook forced smile ever and says he seems like a good guy. But her inner thoughts are pure murder. She thinks our girl is asking because she has a crush on him. Our girl tries to pivot, mentioning she wants to call off her own engagement. Feiyu immediately latches onto this, promising to support her no matter what, thinking she's helping her get with Lord Xuan. The misunderstanding deepens. To confirm Feiyu's feelings, our girl starts Operation Observe the Female Lead. First, she takes Feiyu shopping at a place Lord Xuan frequents, then watches from a distance. And right on cue, some street thugs show up to bother Feiyu. Classic, our girl panics, worried it might be a real ambush. But when she peeks around the corner, the thugs are already on the ground in a pool of blood, and Feiyu is standing over them looking absolutely savage. The moment Feiyu sees our girl, she turns around with a bloody face, and immediately bursts into tears, clinging to her and sobbing about how scared she was. Observation attempt 1, conclusion, absolutely nothing, so she tries again. This time, the two lids meet face to face. They bow politely, and then just walk away from each other without saying a single word. Our girl cannot believe this level of awkwardness. Observation attempt 2, another failure. Meanwhile, Feiyu's little spirit companion tells her that our girl keeps setting up these meetings. Feiyu is now convinced that our girl likes Lord Xuan and is just testing her loyalty. The misunderstanding has now reached critical levels. So the next day, Feiyu ambushes our girl with a mountain of books, declaring that they must focus on studying for the conference with no distractions. Our heroine is dragged away into a study hell. Observation attempt 3 ended before it even started. The next few days are a blur of memorization and chanting. Finally, the day of the Flaming Pill conference arrives. Her father is super supportive, but our girl is not confident at all. This conference is a huge deal, held only once every 3 years, pitting all the best young alchemists against each other. Feiyu is in a different exam hall, looking cool and confident. She's not worried since the preliminary questions are just theory. She thinks even our girl should be able to handle this simple stuff. Back at the palace, the evil second prince is raging. His plan to tamper with the exams has failed. But his subordinate has some news. They didn't even need to tamper with the exams. Because Ningshuin is so incredibly dumb, she failed the preliminary exam all on her own. And there she is. Our poor heroine slumped over her desk, soul literally knocked out of her body by the exam questions. KO, the day of the Flaming Pill conference elimination rounds has finally arrived, and 2 very important guests are making their entrance. It's the first and fourth princes, here to host the event on behalf of their father. But there's a problem. One of the key participants, the esteemed patriarch Zhu Lerui, is nowhere to be found. The first prince calmly decides to wait a little longer, assuming he's just been delayed. An entire hour passes. The crowd is getting antsy, so the first prince decides they can't wait any longer and gives the order to begin. The officials immediately scurry off to get things started. The fourth prince, however, is absolutely fuming. How dare some nobody make a royal wait this long? The participants are also whispering amongst themselves, wondering who could possibly be important enough to hold up 2 princes. The gossip spreads like wildfire. They must be waiting for the legendary lord of the holy world. Clearly, this big shot is a very busy man. Little do they know, the big shot in question, Bay Xiaoin, had already arrived at the exam hall. It's just, well, things got a little complicated. Let's rewind to a few days ago. Our poor girl is bawling her eyes out after a test, but her friends are there to comfort her. Filled with a renewed fighting spirit, she gets ready for the next round. She knows that according to the drama's plot, that guy should be coming to visit Feiyu any minute now. And right on cue, a visitor arrives. Speak of the devil, it's Senior Bay, looking as handsome as ever. Our girl watches them, no longer seeing a budding romance, but a kind uncle and his filial niece. Now that she knows the truth, she's strangely calm. After all, she knows Bay Xiaoin will show up when he's supposed to. See, he was poisoned years ago and the effects still flare up. The female lead, Feiyu, is a genius at pill making, but always seemed to fail when making medicine for him. Our girl, however, needs a specific pill from the original story. So she marches right up to the duo and asks them to make it for her. Her own audacity sends her into a system shock. She quickly tries to backpedal, saying she's terrible at alchemy. But Senior Bay just smiles, saying he knows. He just needs her to assist Feiyu, since she's clearly a formidable person for creating that amazing device. She has no choice but to agree, crying on the inside. This man knows nothing. They lay out all the ingredients for the pills. Our girl cleverly gets Feiyu out of the room by telling her the device she needs is in the study. As soon as the door shuts, a sinister purple spirit materializes. It sneers, thinking Bay Xiaoin must be truly desperate to ask that lady for pills. The spirit sees a golden opportunity to finish him off. But then it hesitates. If it makes a move, Feiyu might notice, and if Bay Xiaoin senses its presence, its master will be exposed. That's a risk it can't take. So it decides to go for a more discreet method of sabotage. The spirit grins wickedly. Later, Feiyu is hard at work, concentrating all her energy into forming the pill. But something goes wrong and the spiritual energy dissipates. She apologetically presents the finished pill to Senior Bay, explaining that she managed to shape it, but lost some of the potency along the way. He's not worried at all, praising her skills for someone her age. Our girl, meanwhile, is just munching on some watermelon, watching the drama unfold exactly as she remembers. Feiyu asks Senior Bay to test the pill's effects, and he agrees. He looks at the tiny green pill with a hint of reluctance, then swallows it. He notes that it tastes a little more bitter this time, as Feiyu jots down his feedback. Suddenly, his eyes fly open in shock. Something is very, very wrong. He feels a strange power surging through him and an intense blue aura erupts from his body. Feiyu cries out his name in panic, as both girls are thrown back by the force. A blinding light engulfs the entire courtyard, and for a moment they can't see anything at all. When the light finally fades, a small figure is standing where the powerful Senior Bay once was. The pill, it turned him into a child. A very confused, very tiny child. A while later, the now small Senior Bay is sitting with his eyes covered, stewing in silence. Our girl tries to placate him, saying Feiyu is checking on the other pills. She's fanning him frantically, begging him to calm down, but he is not having it. He opens his eyes, looking absolutely murderous, and tells her to sit. Our poor girl is so terrified, she immediately drops to her knees. He deadpans, "I told you to sit, not kneel," the absolute savagery. Just then, Feiyu bursts in, having figured it all out. She accidentally used the wrong kind of grass, one that looked nearly identical to the correct ingredient. Apparently, this particular mix-up turns people into children. She then launches into a super scientific explanation that leaves our girl and small Bay completely lost. Their brains short-circuiting from the info dump. The short-term solution, Feiyu explains, is to suppress the pill's effects with spiritual energy. But our girl knows that Bay Xiaoin has already used most of his energy fighting off his poison. Feiyu promises to find an antidote as soon as possible. For a moment, small Bay's eyes widen with a flicker of emotion. He tells her not to worry, claiming he doesn't find his new form inconvenient at all. But as he turns away, our girl can't help but feel like something is off about him, though she can't quite put her finger on it. For the next few days, Feiyu works tirelessly but fails to find a cure. When the day of the conference arrives, small Bay finds our girl and asks where Feiyu is. She explains that participants had to go ahead. She assumes he'll refuse to go in his current state, but he just tells her to get ready to leave. When she hesitates, he gives her a chilling smile and says it's refreshing to be refused for a change. Her internal monologue screams, "No one refuses you because they end up dead, *." She immediately starts bawling, saying it would be an honor to accompany him. Our girl is literally shaking in her boots, stuck with the bane of her existence. It's a terrifying montage of sharing a carriage with death, walking alongside death, and finally sitting in the spectator section with death. He's so small and so grumpy. She tries to calm herself down, reminding herself she has a mission to complete. She makes an excuse about getting food and bolts. It's time to skedaddle. Small Bay just watches her run off with an unreadable expression. Our girl makes it backstage, which is bustling with people. She's trying to figure out how to sneak into the storeroom, when a voice pops up right behind her, startling her so badly she shrieks. The sound alerts some nearby staff, who start heading over to investigate. It's Small Bay, of course, who dryly asks if she's trying to snack on a cauldron. This little menace was following her the whole time. Thinking fast, she pretends she was just looking for Feiyu's cauldron to be helpful. She knows from the story that all the cauldrons are stored here to prevent cheating. It doesn't take them long to find it. As she reaches for the lid, wondering what sabotage awaits inside, they hear footsteps, someone's coming. The door creaks open and a shadowy figure sneaks in. It's the debut of bad guy number 1. He quickly finds the cauldron he's looking for, which is, of course, Feiyu's. He slips a glowing blue object inside, closes the lid, and vanishes as quickly as he came. Once he's gone, our girl pulls out the object. It's a frost magnet, designed to stick to the oven and mess with the flames during the pill-making process. It could even make the whole thing explode. In the drama, Feiyu barely avoided disaster, but now our girl is here to fix things beforehand. Small Bay is radiating pure rage. How dare someone try to sabotage his niece? But before they can leave, they hear more footsteps. Not again, a second sneaky villain appears, places something in the same cauldron, and leaves with an evil laugh. Our girl checks again. It's another frost magnet. Seriously, can't these villains get a little more creative? She figures the two saboteurs aren't working together, then they hear another rattle, and another, and another. By the end of it, they've collected 4 frost magnets. Our girl is losing her mind. How do these villains even exist without a concept of coordination and planning? She fumes. Now that they've cleaned up the mess, she suggests they go back. But Small Bay isn't moving. He has a truly terrifying, vengeful smile on his face. We've received so many gifts, he says, his eyes glowing with malice. It'd be rude of us not to return the favor, right? Oh boy, Uncle is angry and someone is about to have a very, very bad day. An announcer's voice booms over the conference as chaos erupts in the elimination rounds. Apparently, some poor schmuck's cauldron just went kaboom. The participant is severely injured, but the medics are on the scene. They wheel him out, completely mummified in bandages and screaming bloody murder. The announcer nervously reports he was last heard mumbling about not enough explosions. Yikes. Meanwhile, our favorite chaotic pretty boy, Bay Xiaoin, is all smiles. As the saying goes, one good turn deserves another tilde. And by that, he means if someone tries to sabotage you, you sabotage them back twice as hard. A sound philosophy, honestly. Our girl, however, is having a full-blown panic attack. Ever since this man found out her spiritual energy can turn cauldrons into grenades, he's been using her as his personal bomb squad. The crowd is buzzing. The guy who tried to take out Feiyu got a taste of his own medicine and is now completely out of the running. Talk about karma. Our girl is just baffled by Bay Xiaoin's 5D chess moves. But hey, what can she do? The guy is a certified badass and she's not about to get on his bad side. But of course, someone isn't happy. A fist slams down as an old man roars about sabotage. He insists his precious son would never make such a rookie mistake. It must be a setup. He's convinced that Goody Two-Shoes' wrong hand was playing dirty the whole time. And he is not letting this go. Soon the matter is brought before the first prince. The fourth prince, ever the snake, presents the pitiful victims who immediately beg for justice. The first prince, looking noble and just, promises to get to the bottom of it. The bandaged-up loser, Rong Kuncheng, claims his cauldron was sabotaged with something called a frost magnet. He immediately points the finger at our sweet Feiyu, claiming they had an argument a few days ago. The fourth prince watches on, a smug little smirk on his face. This is all going according to his plan. The first prince is skeptical, but decides he has to summon Feiyu for questioning to maintain fairness. Kuncheng can barely contain his glee. He thinks Feiyu is just some timid country girl he can easily scare into a confession. He's already picturing her breaking down, making him look like the credible one. Oh, you sweet summer child. When news reaches Bay Xiaoin, he goes absolutely feral. Our girl has to physically hold him back from committing a felony. She's confused. His untraceable spiritual energy was used, so how did they pinpoint a frost magnet? Then it hits her, she was the one who placed it. Feiyu is being framed for her actions. Bay Xiaoin calms down, explaining that if someone is determined to frame you, they'll find any excuse. He hands her a token to get past security. It's time for her to step in. She's shocked, me alone looking like this. He just gives her a deadpan stare, clearly not in the mood for her antics. His plan is simple and chaotic. Go in there, make a massive scene, and piss them off so much that the judges have no choice but to investigate properly. Back at the interrogation, Feiyu stands her ground, pleading her innocence. But Kuncheng's father is having none of it, screaming at her to just admit it. He's fuming that his idiot son's plan backfired and is now wasting his precious time. Feiyu, looking like a kicked puppy, starts tearing up. She puts on a masterful performance, questioning why she'd harm him when they have a family bond and a wager on the line. The first prince is buying it, reminding everyone she's just here for questioning, but Kuncheng's father thinks she's just a coward. Suddenly, Feiyu's demeanor shifts. She fires back a sharp question. How would you know a frost magnet causes an explosion without any evidence? Kuncheng is completely stunned. Since when did this girl have a spine? The princes watch, intrigued by this sudden turn of events. And just then the doors burst open. It's our girl Ningshuin making a grand entrance. In their minds, it's a slow-motion, flowery reunion of two besties. A shipper's smile indeed. An old geezer yells at her for the intrusion, but she's not fazed. She puts on her sweetest smile and explains she rushed over in a panic after hearing her sister was framed. The first prince, clearly entertained, allows it and declares a battle of words to settle things. Oh, this is gonna be good. Kuncheng scoffs, thinking they're just covering for each other. Ningshuin's face darkens, it's on. Round 1, fight. Ningshuin lands the first blow, calling him a shameless, incompetent fool who's trying to find a scapegoat for his own failure. Oof. He sputters, trying to use the frost magnet fragments as his only piece of evidence. His rage meter is already spiking. Ningshuin hits him with a wave of passive aggression, calling his accusations inferior speculation and pointing out how convenient it is for her that he's out of the finals. His rage meter is nearing its limit. The battle of words rages on. Insults are flying and pure chaos descends upon the room. Feiyu watches, realizing Ningshuin is deliberately provoking him, and tells herself to just go with the flow. Ningshuin delivers the ultimate verbal smackdown, questioning how he could possibly know so much about sabotage unless he's done it himself. Step up or SDFU. And that's it, rage overload. His reasoning has completely left the building. In a fit of pure, unadulterated rage, he screams his confession. I bribed the staff to dump a frost magnet in her cauldron. You could hear a pin drop, the entire room is frozen in shock. Our girls just blink, well, that was easy. The first prince's eyes light up, busted. And just like that, the culprits are all tied up and ready for jail. Case closed. The first prince is just so done with his incompetent subordinates. It gets worse. A report reveals the bribed staff member also leaked exam questions, causing a massive uproar among the other alchemists. The fourth prince starts sweating. This scandal is blowing up. The elders agree their top priority is to calm the masses. The first prince declares that for the sake of fairness, something must be done. But redoing the exams is out of the question. That would be an admission of guilt and tarnish the conference's reputation forever. So what's the solution? One clever elder suggests an additional round open to everyone. This way everyone gets another chance and the conference saves face. Genius. The council is in full agreement. Our girl's friends are ecstatic. She gets another chance to compete. Ningshuin, however, is having a moment of déjà vu. This is exactly what happened in the original story. Except in that version, Kuncheng got away with it by framing a scapegoat. The scandal still led to an additional round hosted with Bay Xiaoin's powerful spiritual device. She knows what's coming, but a part of her doesn't even want to go. Every time she meddles, the plot gets weirder. But Feiyu isn't taking no for an answer. She grabs Ningxuan's hands, eyes full of tears, and plays the ultimate damsel in distress card. Ningxuan's brain immediately short-circuits, her one weakness, a pretty face in distress. She agrees instantly. They arrive to find the hall absolutely packed. The moment they walk in, the whispers start. Everyone knows this whole mess is because of the wrong family. Feiyu looks uncomfortable and Ningxuan is ready to throw hands. If they dare affect her performance, she's prepared to silence them permanently. Suddenly, a red-headed guy blocks their paths. Here we go again. Another rando trying to pick a fight with the female lead. He introduces himself as Zhuangfei and says he heard they were the ones who took down Rong Kuncheng. Feiyu gives him a stone cold "so what?" that shuts him up immediately. Before he can recover, a girl smacks him upside the head. Smug. She scolds him for looking like he's trying to start a fight. This is Feng Hui, and she apologizes for her friend's lack of social skills. Turns out, Angfei hates Kuncheng and is actually a fan of what they did. This sets him off on a tangent about how Kuncheng screwed him over. The two immediately start bickering like an old married couple. Our girls just grab some imaginary popcorn and enjoy the show. Angfei then turns on them, demanding to know why they aren't as angry as he is. Feng Hui has had enough and just drags him away. She even uses Ningxuan as a human shield from his flailing arms. Feiyu is so over this drama. She grabs Ningshuin and makes a run for it. Just then, a calm voice cuts through the chaos, telling them to stop fighting. A handsome boy with lavender hair named Luping gently reminds them that pill-making requires focus. The bickering duo immediately apologizes. Then Luping turns to Ningxuan, addressing her by name. She racks her brain. Who is this guy? He's cute, but he definitely wasn't in the original story. Before he can explain, the doors to the arena opens. The additional round has begun. He gives her a polite smile and heads inside, leaving her completely bewildered. Feiyu asks who he was, but Ningxuan has no clue. A sudden horrifying thought crosses her mind. What if the original Ningxuan bullied this cute, innocent boy? Did she just run into one of her past victims? On stage, an elder is channeling immense spiritual energy. Ningxuan recognizes it immediately. They're using Bay Xiaoin's magic ring, just like in the drama. From the sidelines, Bay Xiaoin watches her, a curious look in his eyes. Just how much does she know? The elder makes a grand announcement. This round will be broadcast live, so any thoughts of cheating should be forgotten. He activates the device, and a massive, swirling vortex of energy appears. The illusory realm test begins. The Four Directions magic ring traps everyone in an illusory realm, forcing them to play by its rules. This particular realm was designed to test alchemists on their knowledge of herbs and boy, where there are a lot of rules. The disembodied voice of the proctor booms through the forest. Rule number 1, find and identify magical herbs to score points. The rarer the herb, the more points you get. But be warned, if you damage the herb or get the answer wrong, you'll lose double the points. Rule number 3, no fighting. If two people find the same herb, they have to compete with their knowledge, not their fists. And the most important rule of all, no cheating, because this entire test is being broadcast live for everyone to see. Our girl slowly opens her eyes, taking in her new surroundings. Her pupils dilate in shock. They were actually teleported into a forest. The magic of this fantasy world is just on another level. She turns to call out to Feiyu, but the spot beside her is completely empty. She'd almost forgotten everyone enters the realm separately. In a place this huge, finding anyone would be nearly impossible. As she wanders through the trees, something catches her eye. It's another contestant. A girl calmly plucks a fruit from a tree. and correctly identifies it as a bearded vine fruit, earning her the first point of the match. The fruit then dissolves into light and disappears. The girl realizes that to get more points, she'll have to venture deeper into the forest. She also notices she can hide her score, a curious feature she decides to use for now. Elsewhere, Zhu Angfei is getting an earful from his little purple spirit companion. The tiny ghost is absolutely furious, screaming at him for slacking off. Don't you forget your master specifically asked for that thing if I don't get it. Zhu Angfei just sighs, completely over it. The spirit continues its tantrum. Fine, why does she always find a way to boss me around? Meanwhile, the lazy red-haired prince is just chilling in the woods. He spots something in the distance, and his eyes widen. It's Luping, a rare supplementary herb. But just as he's about to grab it, another contestant zips past him, snatches the herb, gets the point, and runs off laughing. The prince is left fuming. Why you get back here? A nearby voice pipes up, serves you right for dawdling. He whirls around to see wrong Ningshuin, and she does not look impressed. The two immediately start bickering, their chaotic energy practically setting the forest on fire. Someone tries to interrupt them, but they both shout in unison, "What the heck do you want?" Suddenly, a massive boom echoes through the trees. A panicked voice screams, "Run for your lives." A giant, angry bull with glowing red eyes is charging straight for two other contestants. Everyone scatters, running for their lives from the great horned bull. Our poor heroine is struggling to keep up. Seeing this, the red-haired prince Zhu Zimo grabs her hand. "I told you to cultivate properly, but you wouldn't listen. Grab on, I'm not coming back for you if you fall," he yells, a faint blush on his cheeks. Our girl is too stunned to speak, her heart fluttering. Meanwhile, outside the realm, the judges and nobles are watching the whole disaster unfold on a giant magic screen. One of the masters is panicking, but Master Zhu calmly explains that this was all part of the plan. Spiritual beasts naturally gather where magical plants grow. Besides, it's an illusory realm, so no one can actually die. It'll just be really painful. He also reveals a hidden rule: defeating the beasts earns points, testing their fighting skills. Another master starts sweating, realizing he's now the scapegoat for this insane plan, and his own son is in there. Another father starts yelling at Master Zhu, scandalized that his daughter is being carried by a man. But the first prince just smiles serenely. He explains that cultivators will always encounter dangers in the wild, so this is a valuable learning experience. The masters have no choice but to agree. Back in the forest, the chaos continues. A mysterious, silver-haired man watches the screens with a look of utter disdain. "Tusk, they're also weak," he scoffs. He muses that if this were a real forest, they'd all be dead by now. He wonders how the girls are holding up, probably crying their eyes out. He scrolls to our girl's screen, expecting tears. But instead, his eyes widen in shock. What wrong Ningxuan's score is. After a mad dash, the group finds a place to hide from the bull. Zhu Zimo immediately rounds on the two who led the beast to them. Wrong Ningshuan steps in to play peacemaker, and the two apologize, explaining they have no idea what happened. The bull just appeared out of nowhere. Our girl has a mini meltdown, wondering why the plot of this world keeps going off the rails. But wrong Ningshuan puts the pieces together. Since the test is being broadcast live and no one stopped the attack, it must be part of the test. She asks if there were any special plants where the bull appeared, and the guy confirms there were some Shanhong fruits. "I knew it," she says, suggesting they test her theory. That's when Zhu Zimo finally processes her words. "You said broadcast live." The horrifying realization dawns on them. The audience has been laughing at their every embarrassing moment. They have just experienced death by public embarrassment. Our poor heroine remembers being princess scarried and wants the ground to swallow her whole. Wrong Ningshuan, ever practical, tells them to get over it. They decide to test her theory and lure out a tiny field chestnut rat. Her hypothesis was correct, the beasts are part of the test. Zhu Zimo finds the rat absolutely adorable. Then he asks if he can get points for it. With a sickening squelch, he crushes the poor creature, earning a point. Our girl and the other girl are completely traumatized by the brutal display. Seeing how dangerous the beasts are, they decide to team up. They'll take turns harvesting regular herbs and compete for the rare ones. Our girl, feeling lost and alone without Feiyu, agrees that it's a good idea. As she's lost in thought, something bonks her on the head. It's a disappearing herb. She immediately bursts into crocodile tears, wailing about how they must have worked so hard to find it. The others are stunned into silence, thinking they made her cry. They quickly promise to let her have the points for the next beast to make up for it. She accepts their thanks with a hidden smile. They let her pass on the next few herbs, and she plays the part of the gracious, selfless teammate perfectly. From behind a tree, Zhu Angfei's little purple spirit watches and seethes. He decides to teach wrong Ningshuan a lesson, since no one will know it was him in this illusory realm. He zips off to cause some chaos. Our heroine is marveling at how realistic these side characters feel compared to the original story. Just then, Zhu Zimo shoves a squeaking creature into her arms. Come on, finish this one off for the points. She starts trembling uncontrollably. I'm not shaking, she stammers, it's be behind you. The great horned bull is back. They all start running again. But there's no bait for the bull here, it makes no sense. But then they see it. There's another one up ahead. They're trapped between two furious beasts. Our girl zones out in class thinking about bulls, and how they are not actually triggered by the color of red, but by the chaotic movement of the claws. This random school memory suddenly becomes very relevant. Because they're facing down two massive, angry beasts, she quickly formulates a plan to survive this mess. Her companions are understandably losing their minds, but our girl shouts for them to listen, insisting it's their only shot. Bulls chase moving things, she explains, so if we're all moving in a line, we can bait them into charging and then duck so they crash into each other. She tells them to follow her lead and start moving now. She busts out her secret technique, jumping left and right. Her friends look absolutely horrified, thinking she's completely lost it. But with no other choice, they decide to trust her chaotic plan. And so they begin their ridiculous life-or-death dance. They jump and weave, trying to get the bull's attention. The others see her courage and realize they can't let her efforts be in vain. They all join in on the madness, jumping left and right for their lives. The bulls huff, their eyes glowing with rage as they lock onto their targets. It's working, one of them cries out, they've noticed us. The red-haired hottie warns everyone to watch their timing because the beasts are about to charge. The ground shakes as the bulls thunder towards them. Just as they're about to be turned into pancakes, someone screams now, they all hit the deck. The bulls, unable to stop their momentum, collide in a massive, earth-shattering crash. The dust settles and everyone anxiously looks to see the result. It worked, two great horned bulls knocked out cold. They did it, the team erupts in cheers, absolutely ecstatic. They swarm our girl in a celebratory hug, nearly suffocating her in the process. Even the original heroine, Miss Feiyu, shows up to see what all the commotion is about. Can't breathe, our poor girl gasps. Later, they explain the whole chaotic incident to Feiyu. The boys are still buzzing from the near-death experience, bragging about the points they earned. But the silver-haired one brings them back to reality, reminding them they almost died. That's when Feiyu steps in, ever the helpful heroine, and shares some key information about the forest. She explains it's a circular realm, and the further in you go, the rarer the herbs and the more dangerous the beasts. The test isn't just about gathering herbs, but about having the skill to navigate the dangerous inner zone. The group finally understands the true nature of the test. They thank Feiyu for the valuable intel, but then she drops a bombshell saying her intentions are selfish. She wants to team up with just Ningxuan and head for the inner forest alone. Our girl is completely caught off guard. The rest of the group is just as confused. Go alone, but the beasts are crazy strong, the redhead protests. The silver-haired boy just smiles knowingly. He explains that a smaller team can move faster and gather points more efficiently than a large group holding each other back. Our girl's heart melts, thinking Feiyu is being incredibly selfless to help her score points. Oh, as she thinks Feiyu is just too kind. With the new plan set, the group wishes each other luck and splits up, promising to see each other in the finals. As they venture deeper, Feiyu easily spots a point-giving herb. Our girl remembers a key plot point from the original story. Feiyu was supposed to fall into a hole and find a super rare herb. She starts looking for a way to ditch Feiyu so the plot can proceed as planned. But before she can make an excuse, Feiyu announces she's jumping down from a tree. She gracefully leaps from the branch, only to land with a loud crash. Our girl screams her name in panic. The plot hole has appeared right on schedule. She rushes to the edge and peers down, asking if Feiyu is okay. Feiyu calls back that she's fine and tells Ningshuin not to fall in. She then declares she's going to look for herbs down there, telling our girl not to worry. Ningshuin agrees, telling her to be careful. But down in the darkness, Feiyu is not alone. She's surrounded by a swarm of giant, rustling insects. And she is not happy. Why does every time I want some alone time with Ningshuin stuff like this happens? She seethes. The sweet heroine facade drops completely. It's because of you meddling creatures. Those who get in my way must die. A terrifying dark energy erupts from her and the bugs scatter in terror. A little while later, our girl helps pull a perfectly composed Feiyu out of the hole. Feiyu, back to her sweet act, thanks Ningshuin and claims the hole was a blessing in disguise, full of flowers and beasts that gave her a ton of points. Our girl forces a smile, but inside she's panicking about her own pathetic score. Suddenly, a loud horn echoes through the sky. What was that, they wonder. It's the assembly horn, signaling that the round is about to end. Our girl is relieved it's over, but Feiyu points out the obvious. Ningshuin doesn't have enough points yet. But our girl flashes a confident smile, remembering the prince's words. Score doesn't matter, the experience is what counts. All the participants gather in a clearing. The first prince is informed that time is almost up. He gives a small knowing smile and says it's time to move on. The horns blow again, and a massive wave of energy washes over the forest, teleporting all the contestants to the main plaza. Anyone who didn't make it back in time is instantly disqualified. An official explains that time management is a key skill for alchemists. Our girl and Feiyu are just relieved they got lucky and made it back. Ningxuan then spots the other villains from the original story and has an oh crap moment, realizing she'd forgotten all about them. But look, her old teammates made it too. The official announces the next phase. The top 16 scorers will advance to the finals. Everyone is told to step forward and present their findings. As our girl moves forward, she accidentally bumps into someone. Watch where you're going, the man snaps. Another official then steps forward holding a small paper roll. Miss, is this yours? He asks. Our girl is confused, having no idea what he's talking about. But then another contestant points a finger. Sir, I saw it. The paper roll did fall off her. She is completely stunned. The official demands she be honest. A senior judge notices the commotion and demands to know what's going on. The man who found the paper steps forward and makes a grave accusation. Sirs, I suspect this lady has cheated in the additional round. The entire plaza goes silent. What? The judge takes the paper and magically inspects it. Indeed, there's information on various herbs written here, he says grimly. Can you explain this, young lady? Our girl is speechless. The crowd immediately starts whispering, cheating, how shameless. Someone recognizes her. Isn't that a wrong? Her family is nothing but trouble. Our poor girl is reeling. This never happened in the drama. When did this paper get on her? She pleads her case to the judges. I did not bring that into the competition with me. I don't know how it came to be in my robes either. But the accuser scoffs. You don't know? ISAW it fall from your pocket. The crowd gasps, cheating in the Flaming Pill Conference is a major crime. Feiyu immediately rushes to her defense, insisting Ningshuin would never cheat. Our girl's father also begs the princes to investigate, claiming it's a misunderstanding. But the fourth prince is having none of it. Arrest her, he commands, let's not interrupt the proceedings. Thankfully, the first prince intervenes, saying it's too early to judge. Her former teammates also speak up, vouching for her character. They argue that she was so generous, she let others harvest herbs instead of taking them for herself. Why would a cheater do that? But a snake in the crowd twists their words. Generous? Or maybe she didn't need points because she planned to cheat from the start? The crowd starts to murmur in agreement. Yeah, why wouldn't she want points? It is a competition after all. Feiyu can't believe what she's hearing. The calls from the crowd grow louder. Shameless, arrest her. Our girl's mind is racing. Who set her up? Is this a consequence of changing the plot? She realizes her priority now isn't finding the culprit, but proving her own innocence. She turns to face the judges and princes. Your Highnesses, she says, her voice shaking but firm, I am indeed unable to prove where the paper came from, but I can prove that I never saw its contents and that I never cheated. Our girl insists she can prove she never saw its contents and never cheated. The old official is not buying it, so you're saying it was with you but you never read it. She stands her ground, exactly. But the sleazy prince chimes in, do you think a cat would refuse fish if it was right under its nose? And how can you prove you never read it? With a grim look, she decides to play her final card. I wouldn't have proven myself this way if I had a choice, but observe, ladies and gentlemen. She activates her system, putting her score on full display for the entire world to see. The crowd is absolutely stunned. Even the other contestants can't believe their eyes. The entire arena erupts in confusion. How can this be? Turns out hours ago, things went south fast. While walking in the competition grounds, she accidentally steps on something. A notification pops up, herb destroyed, -1 point. Our poor girl is completely baffled, a point deduction just like that. She tries to jump away, but lands on another one. Are you kidding me? A negative score right out the gates. Everywhere she steps, she's losing points. This is absolute chaos. She's forced to walk with extreme, delicate care. Everyone else is busy looking for herbs, but she's the only one desperately trying to avoid them. Not paying attention, she walks straight into someone's chest. Bonk. Oof, that had to hurt. She clutches her forehead in pains. The guy she bumped into recognizes her from the participants' room. What a coincidence. He points out a Shanhong fruit tree nearby, saving her from accidentally stepping on it and losing even more points. She's incredibly thankful, but just as she's about to leave, a loud rumbling shakes the ground. They both turn towards the sound. A massive, demonic-looking bull comes charging through the forest. Its eyes are glowing red with pure rage. What is a great horned bull doing in the illusory realm? The guy screams for her to run, but it's too late. The bull crashes right into the tree, sending her flying. And to add insult to injury, she gets deductions for all the fruit that got knocked off the tree. This is so unfair. Later, she tries to help her friend Feiyu, but ends up destroying more herbs. A large one, a rare one, her score just keeps plummeting. At this point, she's just accepted her fate. Heh, I'm dead. Her final score is a legendary -250. Back in the present, the audience is gobsmacked. But then the logic kicks in. This definitely isn't the result of cheating. Have you ever seen someone get a score like this through sabotage? Someone in the crowd stands up. I believe Miss Wrong didn't cheat. How can someone cheat and still get a negative score? He cries, I have just witnessed the worst score in the century-long history of the conference. The whispers start to turn in her favor. That's right, it doesn't make sense. She must have been framed. No way can someone cheat and still score minus 250. That reflects her actual skill. And so that day, our girl crushed the saboteur's accusation with undeniable truth. All their doubts faded, but at the same time, she lost her last shred of dignity. She didn't cheat, she's just a real noob. That night, she's standing on a balcony, stewing in her own failure. The whispers of the crowd echo in her mind. What a terrible score, so lame. Overcome with shame, she starts banging her head against a pillar. The worst kind of death is death by public embarrassment. Suddenly, a voice cuts through her misery. I was wondering who'd be banging against a pillar in the dead of night. It's Senior Bay, casually chilling on the railing and offering her a drink. Our girl is mortified. She politely refuses, saying kids can't drink alcohol. He tells her it's basically fruit juice, and she hesitantly takes a sip. And oh my god, she loves it. A little too much, actually. She gets completely wasted after one cup. Senior Bay is shocked she got drunk on that. Drunk Ningshuin is a menace. What a nuisance, she slurs. And then she reaches out and pinches his face. A helpful pop-up shows her potential fates, and they all end in her untimely demise. Still pinching, she mumbles, whose kid is this? You look familiar. Senior Bay is not amused. He gets a tick mark on his forehead. Did you get a concussion? He asks before flicking her. Oh, she cries, finally letting go. And then the waterworks start. He looks on, completely bewildered as she starts wailing. The poor guy has no idea how to handle a crying drunk girl. He awkwardly tries to comfort her, but she just sobs about how she studied so hard only to get a terrible score while everyone laughed at her. He's scrambling, trying to get her to stop crying. But then she lets out a mighty blurg and vomits a literal rainbow all over him. Bay Xiaoin, a man who dominated the holy world, was utterly dumbfounded. After a final, ladylike burp, she's out. He sighs, wondering why he's even doing this. He yeets her into her room and onto her bed. Finally, some peace and quiet. He almost feels sorry for her. He looks at her passed-out form. Since you did your best, you can have this as a treat. The next morning, our girl wakes up with a killer hangover and a big question mark. Did she go to the pavilion last night? She can't remember a thing. But never mind that, the real question is, where did this giant egg come from? Just then her friend Feiyu knocks and comes in, perfect timing. Ningxuan immediately shows her the mysterious egg. Feiyu recognizes it, but first, she summons her own reward from Senior Bay. It's an absolutely adorable baby squirrel. Feiyu explains that Senior Bay gave it to her for her performance. Ningshuin is squealing with delight. This is the super cute spiritual beast from the drama that helps the female lead find treasures. She happily cuddles the squirrel, assuming Feiyu got it for doing so well. Feiyu just smiles awkwardly, not wanting to mention Ningxuan's unique performance. She tries to change the subject, remembering her own conversation with Senior Bay. Feiyu then confirms the egg is a spiritual beast egg, also a gift from him, and tells her to form a bond with it. All she needs is a drop of blood. Our girl grabs a needle, but she's a total coward when it comes to pricking her own finger. She asks what kind of pet Feiyu would like trying to stall. She just can't bring herself to do it. The little squirrel, seeing her struggle, decides to help out. And by help, I mean he chomps down on her finger. Boohoo, thanks, baby, as she cries. Feiyu whispers a little threat to the squirrel not to do that again. The drop of blood lands on the egg and it begins to glow. It's hatching. The shell cracks open, and out pops a tiny snail. Our girl is confused. This pet never showed up in the drama. Feiyu explains it's a woodcell snail, a defensive pet perfect for newbies. She tells her what to feed it and where to find the food. Feiyu has to leave for the competition, so our girl offers to go get the snail food. She tells Feiyu it's fine, tomorrow's finals will be a breeze for her. Feiyu is confused, and Ningxuan quickly covers her slip, realizing her friend doesn't know the finals were postponed. She remembers from the drama that the rules were changed to prevent cheating. Deciding to avoid the public, she plans to just relax, feed her pet, and cheer Feiyu on tomorrow. She's having a grand time feeding her new little snail. But then she spots a book on her desk. It's Feiyu's notes, she must have forgotten them. Our girl immediately grabs the book to return it, but she stops in her tracks when she hears voices. It's people mocking her. That's her, the one who got minus 250 points. She takes a deep breath. Let them laugh. Feiyu is more important than a bunch of nobodies. She hurries on, hoping she can still catch up. Suddenly, someone shouts, "Watch out," and yanks her into a room. A guard explains that a man suddenly rushed out. She peeks out from behind the curtain and sees it's the guy from the forest. And he looks like he's in big trouble. Our girl is just trying to have a nice day when suddenly guards are shouting from a distance. She's completely caught off guard. And young Master Lu looks like he's about to have a panic attack. He quickly explains that they are his enemies and they are after him, telling our girl to run for it. But our poor heroine hesitates, not wanting to leave him behind. Suddenly, a booming voice shouts, "Fear not, miss." It's their carriage driver, who proudly announces that his years of training have led to this very moment. and he's ready for a fast and furious style getaway. The horse lets out a mighty neigh, ready for action. With a loud creak, the carriage tears off into the distance. The driver cackles maniacally, absolutely certain no one can catch him now. He zooms off, leaving a cloud of dust and pure chaos in his wake. There's just one tiny problem. He forgot his passengers. As the guards close in, young Master Lu grabs our girl's hand and makes a run for it. She's still trying to process this whole mess. As he pulls her into a nearby building for cover, he assures her the guards won't find them here. Then he gets all dramatic, apologizing for dragging her into this and sighing that it was never meant to be. Our girl is just standing there like, what? He looks down, full of despair, as if his world is ending. Meanwhile, at the Flaming Pill conference, the other contestants are confused about why the finals were moved up. One of them notices that there are only 15 people present, not 16. Someone else counts and confirms that a person is indeed missing. The question on everyone's mind is, where is Luping? The gossip is flying, with everyone wondering why he hasn't shown up. One of the girls finds it suspicious, especially since his father is one of the judges. She recalls the overwhelming malice she sensed from him when they first met. Back in the room, our girl is thinking the exact same thing. He asks her what's wrong, and she finally cuts to the chase, demanding to know why he isn't at the finals. He tries to play the victim, claiming he was sabotaged, but that smug little smile gives him away completely. Our girl isn't buying his act for a second. She calls him out for framing her by hiding that paper roll in her robes. The jig is up, and he finally drops the act, bursting into laughter and admitting she's not as dumb as her reputation suggests. He starts monologuing his entire failed plan, from faking an injury to hiring terrible actors. Our heroine is just speechless. She explains that it wasn't his bad acting that gave him away, but a simple process of elimination. The other two suspects just didn't have the motive or the brains to pull it off. He smirks, trying to cast suspicion on Miss Feng, but our girl knows better. Miss Feng's style is more explosive. She'd go for a direct booby trap, not some elaborate framing scheme. He finally confesses, admitting he shouldn't have allied with those two idiots. Our girl asks the most important question, why? They'd never even met. He grows cold, asking if she remembers the Lu family. She racks her brain but comes up empty, joking that she's pretty sure she never blew up their manor. That sets him off completely. He screams that a year ago she went looking for Lord Shuen in a brothel and ended up exposing a massive scandal between his family and the Zhaos. Our girl freezes. That wasn't her, that was the original owner of the body. He reveals the woman with Lord Shuen was his mother, and because of that incident, his mother was divorced, and his entire family was shamed. He was mocked relentlessly, with people even questioning his parentage. As he clutches his chest in agony, our girl tries to gently point out that, his mom was kind of in the wrong. This is, of course, the worst possible thing to say. His face twists into a terrifying expression. He doesn't care about right or wrong. He just wants to make her feel the same pain and humiliation he did. She trembles, asking if he's going to hurt her. He scoffs at the idea, sneering that simple violence is too good for her. She asks what he's planning, and he launches into his grand, villainous monologue. He's going to spread a rumor that she sabotaged him before the finals, ruining her reputation forever. He will drag her name through the mud until it stinks to high heaven. Her eyes widen in realization he was behind the sabotage during the elimination round 2. She remembers the frost magnets in Feiyu's cauldron and knows he was the culprit. He proudly admits to planting one of them, smirking that she clearly has a lot of enemies. He's convinced that with this final act, her family's name will be worthless. But our girl finds a tiny flaw in his master plan. He brags that he's already done his research and would rather ruin her than lose in the finals anyway, and that he sent men to bring Lord Shuen to witness her crime. Our girl just smiles. Actually, she says sweetly, the finals are tomorrow. His jaw hits the floor. She explains that Lord Shuen will probably just take her to the venue when he arrives. Panicked, he sends his subordinate to verify, who runs off immediately. 15 minutes later, the news is confirmed. His entire plan is a bust. He's absolutely seething, vowing to at least show Lord Shuen how cruel she is. Our girl just shrugs. He's known that for about a year. She reminds him of her well-established reputation for beating up noble ladies. Luping chokes. His plan is falling apart at every seam. He screams that he'll ruin her reputation anyway. But she points out that it's already been ruined. People used to fear her, now they just mock her. His threat is literally a day late and $1 short. He chokes again, his plans completely thwarted. Fueled by pure rage, he unleashes his final trump card. He's going to make her feel the pain of being separated from her parents. But as he reaches for her, she delivers the final soul-crushing blow. Everyone knows I'm adopted, she says calmly. I was separated from my parents over a decade ago. The villain is absolutely unequivocally shattered. He stands there in stunned silence. the weight of his failure crashing down on him. He collapses to the floor defeated. "Leave," he whispers, "I have nothing more to say." A girl awkwardly apologizes and makes her exit, leaving the broken man behind. He realizes his mother was right all along, he's just not cut out for villainy. Miles away, his mother sneezes, completely unaware of her son's existential crisis. Now happily remarried into the Zhao family. Back at the Lu Manor, his father is furious that he missed the conference. But as he storms in to yell at his son, he's met with a shocking sight. Luping has shaved his head and become a monk. His father can't believe his eyes. Luping calmly explains that thanks to our girl, he has been enlightened and will now abandon all worldly attachments. He bids his father farewell, leaving to pursue a life of peace, officially making our girl the most chaotic redeemer of villains ever. She finally makes it back to Lord Shuen, handing him a book for Feiyu and explaining she can't go in. He offers to take her with him, saying it would look suspicious if he gave a book to a finalist alone. As they walk, he asks why she's staring. He assures her that he won't judge her for yesterday's incident, admitting he saw her fight the spiritual beasts. He tells her he despises hypocrites who point fingers at others for things they've also done. Our girl's heart swoons. Overcome with emotion, she gives him a hearty slap on the back and thanks him. He yelps in pain, but she's too busy fangirling over his awesomeness. He ushers her inside, telling her to be serious. But the moment they enter the room, they both freeze in absolute shock. The official throws open the door, announcing the finalists are here. But instead of a quiet waiting room, they've walked into an underground fight club full of half-naked, brawling men. The official is absolutely shook, his jaw on the floor. Ningshuin turns to our girl, completely bewildered, asking if they've entered the wrong room. Even Feiyu can't believe her eyes. "What is going on?" Ningshuin asks, but Feiyu just plays dumb. She nervously suggests maybe everyone just got bored and wanted to work out a little, looking guilty as sin. Of course, this is all our girl's fault. Turns out the purple demon had told her Ningxuan and Luping were getting cozy, which sent Feiyu into a panic. She couldn't sneak away, so she gestured for her trusty squirrel to spike everyone's food with sleeping pills. But oh, there was a slight miscommunication. The squirrel saw her hand gestures and somehow interpreted it as wrestling. So instead of a sleeping potion, it mixed in a little something to make everyone super aggressive. Back in the present, Ningxuan asks why Feiyu is here but is just happy to see she's okay. She holds up a book, saying she was just returning it. She smartly decides to keep the Luping drama to herself for now, not wanting to mess with Feiyu's focus. She'll just have Lord Xuan investigate that snake later. Feiyu thanks her and the two share a sweet moment of friendship. The official feels like a total third wheel. But their moment is shattered by a loud BAM. The winner of the brawl, a red-headed beast of a man, bursts out, puffing his chest out over his human pyramid trophy. He spots Ningxuan and immediately asks if she wants to fight. He rips his shirt open, getting way too close for comfort, and declares that while he's never beaten her before, tomorrow he will definitely win. Ningxuan is not impressed. "Fine," she says, "but get dressed, you idiot, there are ladies present." He gets so excited he blurts out that the prize for the conference is a jade spirit box, which he's going to use as a betrothal gift when he marries her. Ningxuan's brain completely short-circuits. Boom, she's a blushing, steaming mess. The two fathers who were visiting are stunned, and Feiyu wonders if that chaotic medicine also works as a truth serum. The guy's father tries to do damage control, apologizing for his son's indecent proposal. But it's too late. Lord Xuan is radiating pure, unadulterated rage. He absolutely explodes, screaming that he'll kill the boy who dares to ask for his daughter's hand. And just like that, the room descends into chaos once again. The poor visiting father has no idea what he's walked into. Meanwhile, at the fourth prince's palace, the mood is grim. His followers are a mess of failures. One got accused of cuckolding his right-hand man, and another's family member was jailed. This guy's life is so bad his son became a monk and his wife ran away. The prince is seething. What's going on with these morons? He fumes. An advisor timidly suggests their plans were a bit too rash. He recommends more caution for their next moves. The prince reluctantly agrees to delay things, but he won't give up on the Flaming Pill Conference and the patriarch position. His advisor smirks, dismissing Feiyu as a mere country girl. Even though the prince is worried her master taught her everything, the advisor is confident their guy, Kuncheng, is more skilled. And he has a very sinister plan to pull some strings and get their man out of jail. The next day, the finals begin. Our girl Ningxuan is living the high life in the VIP section, and she is loving it. Lord Xuan, however, has never heard of a VIP. She just brushes it off, explaining it's a front row seat with a great view and a mini spiritual projector. He has to admit the view is super clear. Just then Feiyu appears. She needs to ask Lord Xuan a favor. She's worried Ningxuan will be mocked for sitting in the normal seats due to the extra round. So she humbly asks if he can move her to a better area. Lord Xuan scoffs, saying other people's opinions don't matter. Besides, he was going to bring her to the VIP section anyway. He reflects that she's kept her promises and hasn't been a bother, so he coolly agrees to let her stay. Meanwhile, back in the contestant area, Ningshuin is inspecting her cauldron. She decides to double-check it just in case. Suddenly, she senses a presence behind her. It's that smug guy from before, Kuncheng. He's ready for what he calls a fair battle. Ningxuan flashes back to the threat that was made against her, and remembers Feiyu promising to beat this guy in her place. He thinks she's here to fight him personally, but he's got it all wrong. She turns to him with a look of pure determination. "I'm going to beat you," she declares, like I promised. He just lets out a condescending little laugh. Such baseless confidence, he sneers as literal sparks fly between them. The announcer officially kicks off the final round. She starts doing some pre-game interviews, and one finalist gives a thank you speech to his entire family tree. Then she moves on to the red-headed himbo Zhuangfei. He boldly declares his plan to win the Jade Spirit Box and propose to Feng Hui, but then he yelps in pain. Feng Hui just pinched him, her face as red as his hair. He gets all flustered, trying to deny he said anything about marriage. She looks heartbroken. "You don't want to marry me? I thought the feeling was mutual." He immediately backtracks and she shyly admits she likes him too. He's over the moon, and the two of them share an adorable, blushy moment. The announcer is practically biting her microphone in solidarity with all the single people watching. She quickly moves on, sensing some serious drama between the next two contestants. It's Fei Yu and Kuncheng. The announcer gets right in there, asking if they have some kind of sordid past. Kuncheng starts to get cocky, but Fei Yu cuts him off. She puts on her best damsel in distress act, claiming she's never seen this man in her life. She's just a poor innocent girl who's too nervous about the finals to notice anything else. Kuncheng is completely thrown by her instant personality switch. The announcer is totally buying it, falling for our girl's act hook, line, and sinker. But before she can gush anymore, a staff member drags Kuncheng away. The announcer then gives a savage PSA to all the ladies in the audience about avoiding shady, chatty men at competitions. Feiyu watches him go, but her little demon familiar spots someone else in the crowd. It's the cheater from the preliminary round, the one whose cauldron exploded. The demon realizes he must have a powerful backer to still be in the competition. Feiyu decides against exposing him right now. She doesn't want to declare war on an unknown enemy. She'll win this fair and square with her skills alone, just like she promised Ningxuan. Back in the VIP box, Lord Shuen notices Kuncheng trying to chat up Feiyu. He tells Ningxuan not to worry, but she's not worried in the slightest. She's happily munching on snacks, completely confident in her friend. "Of course I'm not worried," she says. "Feiyu's going to win for sure." She declares with a brilliant smile that Feiyu is going to be the brightest star of the competition. Lord Shuen looks at her, completely captivated. "You're the brightest I've ever seen," he thinks to himself, absolutely swooning. He's about to say something, but the competition starts with a bang, interrupting the moment. Flames erupt from every cauldron as the finals begin. The announcer highlights Zhu Angfei's family technique and Miss Fang's delicate precision. She then points out Mr. Chatty Kuncheng, surprised he actually has some skill. But everyone's wondering why our girl Feiyu hasn't even moved yet. In reality, she's secretly activating a special device Ningxuan gave her. She finally makes a move, and a massive cloud of steam erupts from her cauldron. Suddenly, she stops and takes out the herbal extract, causing the crowd to wonder if something went wrong. A voice rings in her head, encouraging her to stay calm and just do what she normally does. The announcer rushes over, assuming she failed. But Feiyu calmly holds up the vial. "I didn't fail," she says with a smile. "This is a special pill-making technique that Ningxuan taught me." The announcer is floored. The audience immediately starts to jeer. The girl with the negative score? She's seriously taking advice from the person who came in dead last. Kuncheng sees his chance to mock her. "This is hilarious. That's just herbal concentrate. You're bullsh** teating about some special technique." The announcer fires back, calling him out for belittling a lady after his flirting failed. Fed up, Feiyu borrows the announcer's spiritual voice amplifier. "You all may have misunderstood Ningxuan because of the last round," she begins. "But I'm telling you right now," she declares, her voice ringing through the arena. "I will make use of Ningxuan's aid, and with our combined efforts, I will win this year's conference." With her head held high, our girl makes a bold declaration to the entire arena. The judges are intrigued by her sheer confidence, noting her practiced flame control and unique technique. But the old men are skeptical, muttering that she's just a teenager and this must be some kind of cover-up for a failed pill. A nobleman tries to curry favor with the judges, hoping they'll take on one of the finalists as an apprentice. And of course, the esteemed judges are already bickering over who gets to poach the best talent. The crowd goes absolutely wild, clamoring for the judges to pick their sons. Suddenly, the other finalists kick it into high gear, and the competition explodes with energy. Zhu Angfei goes all out, summoning a massive fiery beast. He smirks, announcing he's making a 5-star ferocious tiger pill. The announcer is already fangirling, congratulating the pink-haired girl's family on their amazing future son-in-law. But her father is having absolutely none of it. He screams at his daughter to beat that boy so he can be forced to marry into their family and take their surname. The sheer chaotic energy is amazing. His daughter is just as shocked as we are. You can actually do that. Fired up, she unleashes her own power, vowing not to lose to him. She's making a Suhua pill, another 5-star pill. The crowd is losing its mind. The announcer explains that even though it's a lower-tier pill, its difficulty is on par with a mid-tier one. The two rivals glare at each other, the tension crackling in the air. And just when you think it can't get more intense, Mr. Playboy Lu Yan summons a massive spectral snake. The announcer can't believe the gap in their skill levels. Ring-scaled snake bones, that's a super rare ingredient. My god, he's making a mid-tier 5-star pill. The other girl immediately lodges a complaint, but it's no use. The audience is stunned. When did the second son of the Lu family get this good? Even the judges have to admit, the boy's talent is undeniable, even if he is easily distracted by beautiful women. His father beams with pride, smugly thinking that his son is even outperforming the fourth prince who was posing as him before. Lu Yan turns to our girl with a sneer, mocking her puddle of failed extract and laughing at her so-called new technique. The judges are disgusted by his terrible manners, but our girl just gives him a cool, knowing smile. The difference, I saw it, now it's your turn to watch me. She calmly releases the shimmering liquid from its vial. In her hands, the extract coalesces into a glowing orb of pure raw energy. Lu Yan's jaw practically hits the floor. What? The medicinal potency is off the charts. The judges are completely baffled. How did she manage to extract the herb's power so perfectly? The announcer is hyped. This must be a pill of a super high star grade. Lu Yan is absolutely seething, refusing to be beaten by some idiot girl from the countryside. The other competitors feel the immense pressure as the finals draw to a close. The incense is almost burnt out. Can the finalists make it in time? In a final, explosive burst of energy, they all finish their pills. The last bit of incense smolders and dies. Time's up. The 3 top contenders step forward, their finished pills floating before them. The judges prepare for the official inspection. Zhuang Fei and Feng Hui both present lower-tier 5-star pills. They look at each other, realizing they've both lost the top spot. And is that a little spark of romance we see? How cute. Next up, Lu Yan presents his mid-tier 5-star snake essence pill. He actually pulled it off. The crowd is impressed, but then they look at our heroine's submission. The official announces an upper-tier 4-star pill. Wait, what? Lu Yan bursts out laughing. He can't believe she submitted a failed extract, but our girl calmly corrects him. This pill is different from regular Qinghen pills. She holds her head high, completely unbothered. A 4-star pill? That's hilarious, he jeers. She just smiles. Observe, good sir, this pill is different because this is an improved version, the upper-tier 5-star jade striped Qinghen pill. A 5-star pill, the crowd murmurs in confusion. No one has ever heard of a jade striped Qinghen pill before. Even the time-traveling princess is confused. This isn't how the original story went. Lu Yan calls her out, accusing her of bluffing her way through a failed attempt. An official inspects the pill. He can feel its insane medicinal potency but can't identify it. Our girl isn't worried. The esteemed judges will know I speak the truth. She presents the pill to the masters, and their eyes widen. They know exactly what this is. One of the judges levitates the pill, marveling at its astonishing power. The final verdict will come down to not just the star grade, but the pill's medicinal potency. Zhuang Fei's pill clocks in at 89% potency, a very respectable score. Feng Hui's comes in at 85%. She knows she got a little sloppy near the end. But then Lu Yan's is announced, a staggering 92%. The judge calls him a very talented young man. Lu Yan smugly accepts the praise, while the princess wonders how this guy is so good when the real villain is rotting in jail. With a potency that high, she's sure he's going to be the winner. Finally, the judge turns to inspect our girl's pill. His eyes nearly pop out of his head. What is it? He quickly shows the other 2 judges. He can't believe what he's seeing. The potency is 98%. How is that even possible? The entire arena is in shock. 98% from a girl who's only been doing this for a few months. Lu Yan looks like he's seen a ghost. The judges are so shocked they can barely speak. A few months, really. They immediately abandon all pretense of judging and start fighting to recruit her. Our poor girl is swarmed by the desperate old men. The announcer has to physically intervene. Gentlemen, the judging isn't over yet. They basically tell him to get lost. The head judge declares there's nothing left to evaluate with a potency that high. He explains that the jade-striped Qinghen pill was a legendary improvement on a 4-star pill, turning it into a 5-star masterpiece. He admits he has no idea where she got the secret formula. Our girl gives a serene smile. You are right, sir, but my pill is different because I've made a second round of improvements to the formula. The entire stadium erupts. More improvements. You can't just modify a 5-star pill like a food recipe. Lu Yan screeches, she's just an ignorant country girl messing around. What proof does she have? He argues that if her improvements failed, it's just a 4-star pill. I should be the winner of this conference. Even the princess is getting annoyed by his constant whining. But the judges have to admit he has a point. Her claim is highly unusual. The crowd agrees the pill star grade has to take precedence. And right now, there's no way to know if she's telling the truth. But our girl has a plan. Esteemed judges, if this pill can neutralize a 5-star poison, that will prove it's a 5-star pill, am I right? She turns her gaze on Lu Yan, her eyes glinting. Since you're so confident, do you have the guts to lend me your ring-scaled snake liver? He scoffs, tossing it to her. Why wouldn't I? Let's see what you do with it. He has no idea what he just agreed to. Our girl explains that the liver contains a deadly 5-star venom. And then in front of everyone, she pops the poisonous liver into her mouth and swallows it. The absolute mad lass. The announcer is screaming. Is she trying to commit Sudoku on stage? She clutches her throat as the poison courses through her. The entire stadium watches in horrified silence. She weakly asks for her pill back. The judges are in awe of her decisive and thoughtful move. This girl is something else. She takes her own pill and a wave of purifying light washes over her, neutralizing the deadly venom. With a sigh of relief, she smiles. She's perfectly fine. Everyone is completely and utterly speechless. She stands before them, the picture of health. I have now successfully proven that this is an upper-tier, 5-star jade-striped Kinghin pill. With a smug little smile, our girl reveals the legendary pill she just created. The entire stadium collectively loses its mind. They can't believe their eyes. The dude who accused her of cheating is absolutely spiraling, his jaw on the floor. But the elders have seen enough. They know a master when they see one. The rivals' family can only stare in stunned silence, their evil plans completely foiled. In the stands, everyone is cheering their hearts out for our dark horse champion. And so the official announcement is made. Rong Feiyu has successfully crafted a 5-star pill. The judges unanimously declare her the winner of the entire conference. The prince himself steps forward to bestow her rewards, praising her incredible talent for the whole empire to hear. Our girl humbly accepts, thanking him for the honor. The crowd is buzzing, calling her the unexpected dark horse who shocked them all. But before she can even process her win, a reporter shoves a microphone in her face. Feiyu smiles graciously and says she has something important to share. She then proceeds to give all the credit for her win to her bestie, Ningxuan, saying she couldn't have done any of it without her. With the most genuine smile, she thanks Ningshuin for always being by her side. Our poor Ningshuin is completely stunned, her heart swelling with emotion. Feiyu declares that she wants to share her bright and glorious future with her best friend, and the reporter starts bawling her eyes out at the beautiful display of friendship. And she's not the only one. Ningshuin is sobbing, screaming, "My girl's all grown up." One of the elders is deeply moved by her loyalty. With a flick of his wrist, he summons a magic portal and teleports a very confused Ningshuin right onto the stage next to Feiyu. The prince is like, "Wait, where'd she go?" While the other judges just nod, impressed by the flex. The two friends are finally reunited and Feiyu is glowing with happiness. Ningshuin tackles her in a massive hug, screaming, "You're the best." It's the most wholesome victory hug you've ever seen. As the competition officially ends, everyone is invited to a grand feast to celebrate. The prince is literally shipping them from the sidelines, and honestly, so are we. The crowd gives them one last roaring round of applause. Later at the banquet, Ningshuin is happily munching on the delicious palace food. But she's interrupted by a couple of other contestants who are shocked. She doesn't know what's really going on. Turns out her red-headed friend is just as clueless, and Ningshuan asks them to spill the tea. The pink-haired girl explains that her boyfriend is an airhead, and then reveals the big secret. The judges weren't just judges. They're elders from powerful sects here to recruit new disciples. She's hoping to join a stronger sect herself, and her boyfriend is just now catching on. In a moment of pure, chaotic romance, he grabs her hands and declares that wherever she goes, he'll follow because he's never going to leave her. Homegirl absolutely swoons, blushing from head to toe. Meanwhile, Ningxuan spots Feiyu talking business with the elders. Our girl is in full-on nerd mode, explaining the complex science behind her revolutionary pill-making techniques. The elders are peppering her with questions, but Feiyu in her imaginary science glasses has an answer for everything, detailing her entire process. As Ningshuan approaches, she feels like a total noob listening to the pros talk shop. But Feiyu happily invites her to join the discussion, and the elders agree. They lead the two girls into a private room to continue their chat. Feiyu quickly apologizes for revealing the secret technique, but Ningshuan, ever the humble queen, brushes it off. As they enter the room, one of the elders grunts, "You're finally here." And who do they see lounging on a chair like he owns the place? A devastatingly handsome, silver-haired man, with the loser from the competition passed out at his feet. The three elders immediately start freaking out, screaming, "Why is he here?" The man smirks, his voice like velvet in danger. "What, don't you recognize me?" The elders snap into a deep bow, trembling as they greet their lord. They're panicking internally because they were totally told this terrifying dude wasn't coming. The Lord completely ignores them and calls them out on their disguises, gesturing to the unconscious goon on the floor as proof of their incompetence. He orders them to drop the act, and they immediately obey. In a flash of light, the three old men transform into three gorgeous young men, leaving our girls absolutely speechless. The new hotties explain that powerful cultivators can maintain a youthful appearance, and they only disguise themselves as old geezers to look more dignified. The Lord is not impressed and gives the unconscious guy another swift kick. He then tears into the elders, furious that they couldn't even recognize a 5-star pill and forced a young girl to poison herself to prove it. He's radiating pure rage. One of the elders tries to apologize, but Feiyu, bless her brave heart, steps forward to take the blame. This was the wrong move. The Lord turns his fury on her, yelling about how reckless she was. He gets right in her face, his voice trembling with something that sounds a lot like fear. Today you swallow poison, what about tomorrow? What happens if you fail? He's losing it, imagining the worst-case scenario. A world where she didn't succeed. Ningxuan watches, confused and scared. Why is this terrifying man so angry yet so concerned? Why does he look so utterly furious? And yet when he turns away, so completely helpless and sad. Suddenly, a knock interrupts the suffocating tension. A guard announces that the other two top contestants are here to choose their sex. The hot elders, desperate for an escape, immediately tell the guard to send them in. Much to the Lord's aide's dismay, the happy-go-lucky couple walks in, completely oblivious to the chaotic energy in the room. Two of the elders see their chance, snatching up the new recruits and literally kidnapping them as they make a run for it. The last elder is left behind, blindfolded by the Lord and cursing his terrible luck. Feiyu quietly apologizes to the Lord for her thoughtless actions. He just stands there, his back to her, clearly trying to calm himself down. He finally calls for his aide and orders him to take out the trash, literally the guy on the floor. With the room cleared, the Lord's entire demeanor softens. He turns and gently places a hand on Feiyu's head. I lost my composure, I'm sorry. Feiyu is stunned into silence. He then congratulates her, explaining that she's a special case. Instead of joining a sect now, he'll personally take her to the sacred and holy world himself when she's a bit older. And then he drops a bomb. Your mother left a lot of things there. Feiyu's heart leaps into her throat. Her mother. What does he mean? How is this man connected to her past? The Lord announces he has to leave to deal with a disturbance, entrusting Feiyu to Ningxuan's care. As he opens a portal and disappears, the two girls breathe a collective sigh of relief. The banquet is still going on, and our girl is definitely hungry after all that drama. Holding hands, they decide to leave the mysteries for later. For now, all that matters is being together and celebrating her victory. The elders are absolutely fuming that our girl is now a candidate for matriarch. They whine about how all their efforts will be for nothing, crying about how their precious boy lost the wager. But as they plot their next move, a powerful presence suddenly descends upon them. A massive explosion of spiritual energy rocks the courtyard. The force pins them to the ground, and they can't believe the insane level of this person's cultivation. Spitting blood, they lie helpless on the ground as a chilling voice speaks. One of them recognizes it, and a mysterious figure with a sinister smile appears. He says there are two types of people he despises: those who don't keep their promises and the wrong bastards. And what do you know, he says these two old geezers fit both categories perfectly. He announces he's in a pretty bad mood, and that taking out the trash should cheer him right up. The next afternoon, our girl Feiyu and her friend Ningshuin are on their way to the elder's residence. And they both have the exact same thought: this feels like a trap. And to understand why they're so paranoid, we got a flashback to an hour ago. The third elder was stuffing their faces, insisting they eat more after the exhausting test. Just as they're drowning in food, another elder arrives to congratulate them. He brings up the wager, and our girl immediately cuts him off, knowing exactly what this is about. A certain someone is being a sore loser. The third elder sighs, admitting that things aren't that simple. He turns to Feiyu's father, Ronghan, and gives him a heavy speech about his duties as patriarch. Ronghan just solemnly accepts his fate, saying he dug his own grave and he alone will lie in it. Ningshuin listens, realizing just how little she knows about Papa Rong's past. In the drama, he was just a patriarch in name only, constantly undermined by other clan members, who used the family's decline as an excuse to blame him for everything. Of course, our girl Feiyu wouldn't stand for that, and she fought back against the clan's mistreatment of her father. Ningxuan puts the pieces together. Feiyu just defeated the second elder's son, so of course they're not going to honor the deal. She knows Feiyu is facing an uphill battle since she's new and hasn't built trust yet. But she hopes Lord Xuan's involvement will help get the plot back on track. Suddenly, a servant bursts in, announcing that the second master has arrived. It's the third elder's brother, and he's acting suspiciously cheerful. He rushes over to Ronghan, who looks utterly bewildered by the sudden visit. The brother is way too friendly, telling him to sit while he stands. He even offers to give him a shoulder massage, which is just weird. The girls are completely creeped out, getting goosebumps from this bizarre display. Ronghan is having none of it and asks what he's doing here. The brother then launches into a loud, bootlicking speech about how capable Feiyu is. He claims the second elder thinks she has a bright future and wants to nominate her as the next matriarch right now. Ronghan immediately calls him a fool, but his brother dramatically falls to his knees, begging him to come to the elder's residence for the ritual. He's a sobbing, snotty mess, getting it all over Ronghan's clothes. Gross. The girls can only stare in disbelief at this chaotic scene. And so with that enthusiastic invitation, the group headed off. Which brings us back to the present moment in the carriage. They know it's a trap, but they have no idea that it's all because a certain someone got pissed off and is forcing the elder's hands. All they know is that something big and bad is about to go down. They finally arrive at the elder's residence. Feiyu starts to ask a question, but Ningxuan's imagination is already running wild. She pictures the second elder banishing them simply for stepping out of the carriage with their left foot first. Not on her watch, she dramatically leaps from the carriage, determined to land with both feet at the same time. Her grand landing leaves the elders completely speechless, but the bootlicking brother just starts clapping, praising her intimidating aura. Yeah, this guy is definitely getting weirder. The girls agree to keep their guard up. The brother then makes a convenient excuse that he's been summoned and quickly leaves, waving goodbye like the world's shadiest man. Now the paranoia is fully contagious. Ronghan is convinced his brother and the second elder are plotting something sinister, and his brainwashing is complete. They're greeted at the door by servants, but Ronghan immediately gets aggressive, interrogating them. The poor guys are trembling, and the third elder looks super guilty for some reason. The servants explain they were just ordered to decorate the place to welcome Miss Feiyu. But our heroines are suspicious of the red cloths and ropes everywhere. The third elder's mind goes to a dark place, remembering the second elder bought some ancient books on spell formations. He imagines a terrifying crimson death formation. That's it, he's had enough. He dramatically flings himself into the decorations, telling Ronghan to get the girls to safety while he holds them off. Ronghan, completely buying this heroic sacrifice, vows that the third elder's death will not be in vain. They press forward into the main hall, only to be greeted by servants offering them a banquet. They were just preparing food. But in our paranoid trio's minds, these smiling servants are obviously assassins trying to poison them. They refuse the food, declaring they're not hungry. Ningshuin then takes it a step further and force feeds one of the poor servants a bun. This misunderstanding spirals into absolute chaos, with a rumor spreading that the patriarch went mad with joy and started terrorizing everyone. Finally, out of breath, they reach the second elder's residence, ready for a fight. They brace themselves as the doors creak open. Inside, the second elder and the bootlicking brother are all smiles, showering Ronghan with praise. The bootlicking is so intense it's giving everyone goosebumps again. Ronghan cuts them off, and the second elder gushes about how Feiyu is the perfect candidate for matriarch. Ningshuan whispers that it's a trap, and Ronghan firmly rejects the offer, saying his daughter is still a child. But behind their smiles, the elders are sweating bullets. The mysterious man threatened to kill them if they failed, and Ronghan's rejection feels like a death sentence. Just then, another servant rushes in, announcing the arrival of the first elder, who is sighing about all the political fuss. He mutters about how he hopes Feiyu isn't like her father, and shouts for everyone to stop fighting. He enters the room to find the two brothers literally wrestling on the floor, pulling hair and kicking. The first elder is just frozen in shock, wondering if he accidentally walked into the wrong house. And so we get a little backstory on the first elder, a man who puts the family's interest above all else. This strict, unyielding attitude is precisely why he went after Feiyu, but after the family feud, even Papa Rong realized he needed to step up. He screams that Feiyu is smart, hardworking, and the only one he wants is the next matriarch, while the other two elders are literally rolling on the floor pulling each other's hair. The first elder is frozen in absolute horror, his hand trembling in disbelief. He can only think one thing: did I enter the wrong house? He stumbles out, completely bewildered, wondering what is happening. He'd heard the patriarch was going mad, but now it seems the other elders have completely lost their marbles. They immediately start singing Feiyu's praises, calling her a genius with unlimited potential. The first elder thinks they've gone insane and slams the door. But the chaos follows him as the second elder dramatically declares he must protect Feiyu from those with ulterior motives. The first elder clutches his head, thinking he's hallucinating the ridiculous ribbons on the third elder. The bootlicking continues, with the elders now arguing over who supports Feiyu more. The first elder is suffering from psychic damage just listening to them. He recalls his own assessment: while the Kuncheng boy was talented, he was a risk. Feiyu, on the other hand, has limitless potential after just a few months of training. Fine, he makes his decision right then and there. Since the wrong family chooses leaders on merit, Feiyu is the new matriarch candidate. The crowd erupts in cheers, and the first elder just stands there thinking how utterly ridiculous this all is. Just then, a servant knocks on the door. Lord Chuen has arrived and he's asking for Miss Ningxuan. Our girl is floored. Lord Chuen is here for asterisk her asterisk. Feiyu watches, completely confused by everyone's sudden weird behavior. The two bootlicking elders immediately start shipping Ningxuan and Lord Chuen, practically pushing her into his arms. Feiyu is so done with their nonsense, feeling a familiar demonic presence approaching. A chill runs down her spine, she knows that killer gaze. Lord Chuen appears and Ningxuan nervously asks why he's here. He smirks, revealing he knows she bugged the second elder's place, and tells her she needs to hear something. He holds out a glowing orb, and a familiar voice emanates from it, Bay Xiaoin's. Our girl starts sweating, trying to play it cool by saying he's just a strong senior who helped Feiyu. But Lord Chuen sees right through her, asking if she's asterisk sure asterisk he isn't an enemy. He tells her to keep listening. Suddenly, the orb erupts with the heart-wrenching screams of the two villainous elders. Ningxuan's face goes pale with shock. Even though she hated them, she can't help but feel a little bit of pity for their agonizing pain. She's absolutely terrified, wondering what kind of torture Bei Xiaoin inflicted on them. If he finds out her real identity, she's dead. Lord Chuen presses her, asking if she's sure that's all he did, and she can only stammer out a weak yes. But then it hits her, why did Bei Xiaoin suddenly attack them? She remembers the poisonous snake liver Feiyu ate. The only reason Feiyu survived was because she created a high-grade antidote on the spot. If she hadn't, Bei Xiaoin would have gone completely berserk and destroyed them. So that's why those two suddenly turned into Feiyu's loyal lapdogs. It was because of the world's most overprotective, terrifying bodyguard. Ningxuan knows she has to keep this a secret. She can't let Feiyu find out that her gentle, mature senior is actually a terrifying demon lord. If she ruins his image in Feiyu's eyes, she is absolutely screwed. She realizes she has to play along and maybe she should start treating Feiyu a little better. An idea sparks in her mind. Feiyu has a crush on Lord Chuen. This is her chance to play matchmaker. She smoothly invites Lord Chuen to discuss the new pill-making techniques with Feiyu over lunch. He coolly agrees. Our girl is internally screaming. This is supposed to be the start of a beautiful romance. But instead of flirting, they immediately launch into a full-blown business negotiation. Lord Chuen looks like a CEO talking about manpower and commission rates, while Feiyu responds like a corporate shark, discussing market analysis and advertising effects. Ningshuin can't believe it. She brought them here for a heart-to-heart, not a board meeting. Defeated, she decides to just let the two career-oriented workaholics talk. She slips out to find some food, but is distracted by a commotion outside. It's coming from the roof of the restaurant. As she goes to investigate, the ceiling above her suddenly shatters. A girl comes crashing through, screaming for help. Thinking fast, Ningxuan leaps into action to save her. She manages to catch her by the ankles. The girl's face meets the floor with a sickening bonk. Ningxuan is just frozen in awkward silence, absolutely speechless. The girl on the floor is thinking a word she probably shouldn't say out loud. She pushes herself up, gritting her teeth. Thanks for lending a hand, but please don't help me next time. The sheer sass. Ningxuan recognizes her outfit just as another commotion starts outside. The girl panics and yells, "Cover me," before diving behind our poor heroines. Feiyu and Lord Chuen step out to see what all the noise is about. The new girl is pinching Ningxuan, trying to get her to let go. Feiyu notices a scratch on Ningxuan's arm is bleeding and immediately offers a pill. But Ningxuan gets a terrifying chill down her spine. The last thing she wants is one of Feiyu's special pills. A group of guards bursts in, demanding to know who they are. Lord Chuen calmly tells his own guard to let them approach. It turns out to be a diplomat named Jade who greets Lord Chuen warmly. After a brief exchange, Lord Chuen cuts to the chase, pointing out that the person they're looking for is right behind him. He gestures to the two girls cowering in the corner. The diplomat immediately starts scolding his daughter for her behavior, and for ruining her makeup by falling on her face. The girl is absolutely mortified, nose bleeding and all. The diplomat apologizes and introduces his runaway daughter, Nimi. Ningxuan's eyes go wide. She recognizes the name. The second female lead has arrived way too early. According to the original story, this stubborn but cute princess was supposed to show up later and fall for Lord Chuen, causing a ton of drama with Feiyu. But now the plot is completely derailed. Feiyu and Lord Chuen are acting like business partners, not lovers. Ningxuan peeks over at Nimi, who is pointedly not looking at Lord Chuen. It turns out Nimi isn't developing romantic feelings at all. She's dying of sheer humiliation and has already decided to stay as far away from the hot guy who saw her at her absolute worst. While her father tries to comfort her, Ningxuan feels a pang of sadness, remembering a tragic event in their future. Meanwhile, in the prince's palace, an advisor warns him that he's being used. The prince smirks, saying he knows, but he liked the gift he received. The advisor gives a sinister smile, saying that those who use others should be prepared to be used in return. The prince orders him to keep a close watch and not to mess up again. The advisor swears on his life that everything will go according to plan. His face twisted in a creepy, confident grin. Back at the wrong family home, Feiyu thanks Ningxuan for helping her organize herbs. She confesses she's nervous about working with the royal pill alchemists, as Lord Shuen requested. Ningxuan hypes her up, reminding her she's the champion of the conference. As she looks for more supplies, she finds a drawer is empty. She tells Feiyu she'll pop over to the warehouse to grab more. The second Ningxuan is gone, Feiyu's sweet expression disappears. A small, evil purple spirit pops up beside her. The spirit smacks her, reminding her of their master's orders. It tells her there are still many items they need to acquire. Their next target is the Hall of Pill Alchemists, where they hope to find a legendary glowing lotus. Our girl is being promoted to the big leagues, the Hall of Pill Alchemists. It's all thanks to her new technique, which she taught Lord Shuen, and now he wants her to teach all the royal alchemists. Feiyu prepares to meet the esteemed seniors. But Ningxuan is already feeling a little possessive, wishing she could keep her teachings all to herself. The alchemists are already gossiping, with some calling Feiyu an era-defining genius. But the haters are out in full force, questioning how a country bumpkin with the lowest score of the century could invent anything reliable. And of course, our girl overhears every single shady word. She takes a deep breath, knocks, and enters the lion's den. She puts on her most polite face, apologizing for being late, and gets straight to business, ready to introduce her revolutionary new technique. She begins her presentation, explaining how it can extract medicinal potency more efficiently. But the peanut gallery in the back is already whispering trash. She thinks she's all that. What can a little girl like her change? One guy even claims he could do the same with a little practice. Feiyu turns to him, about to call him out, when another alchemist interrupts, loudly asking if it's true she got the lowest score of the century. The room goes silent. But our girl is a master actress. She instantly switches to her shy country girl persona. She acts all nervous and flustered, saying how skilled and knowledgeable they all are. And just like that, the men are putty in her hands, blushing and offering to lend her their notes. Feiyu internally smirks. That was easy. She's already plotting how to win them over, but she's really just looking forward to taking a walk with Ningxuan later. Speak of the devil, a servant announces that her sister has arrived. Feiyu is overjoyed, but in a split second, she switches from a happy smile to the most pitiful, teary-eyed expression you've ever seen. Pitiful Feiyu has entered the chat, she says, looking utterly exhausted. Ningxuan, who looks like she hasn't slept in a week, immediately freaks out. Feiyu grabs her, fussing over how drained she looks and insisting she sit down and rest. Ningxuan gratefully agrees. Turns out our poor Ningxuan had a terrible night. She was tormented by nightmares of the villain Bay Xiaoin threatening her. She kept waking up in a panic, hugging her blanket for dear life. Just when she thought it was over, she had another nightmare, this time of the first prince accusing her of returning. By morning, she was completely wrecked. She couldn't sleep a wink. All she could think about was Feiyu getting into trouble, fearing Bay Xiaoin would use it as an excuse to hurt her. She knows the future of the plot is fragile, especially with the emperor's birthday coming up. She hardens her resolve, determined to protect her best friend no matter what. I'll go help Feiyu now, she declares. And then she immediately passes out and starts snoring. Feiyu watches her friend sleep, a soft smile on her face. It's a shame their walk is cancelled, but she's glad Ningxuan is finally resting. She thinks to herself, this is nice too, when suddenly boom. A massive explosion rocks the building, startling them both awake. They rush outside to see what happened. A servant tells them the explosion came from the pill-making room. Oh, this can't be good. The courtyard is pure chaos, with smoke billowing from the room. They find Alchemist Lu, the hater from before, covered in soot. When asked what happened, he just turns and points an accusing finger. Right at Feiyu, ask her. He screams that her new technique caused the cauldron to blow up. He rants that she destroyed the pills meant for the emperor's birthday and demands she take responsibility. The crowd erupts in panic, terrified of the emperor's wrath. Feiyu steps forward, calmly stating that her technique isn't dangerous enough to cause an explosion that large. Lu scoffs, how are you going to prove it? And that's when a new player enters the game. It's Lord Shuen, and his voice is dripping with ice as he finishes the question. And how will you prove that the destruction of those pills isn't the result of your own incompetence? Oh, snap. Lu sputters that he's a veteran alchemist who's never had this happen before. He argues that the old method is tried and true, basically calling Feiyu's new technique a dangerous failure. But Lord Shuen isn't buying it. He reveals he's conducted many experiments himself, and none of them resulted in explosions. He knows this man is trying to sabotage the new technique on purpose. As he wonders who's pulling the strings, the rumors are already spreading like wildfire, with people telling Ningxuan that Feiyu blew up the chamber. The alchemists are in a full-blown panic. Lu turns his fury on Ningshuin, trying to scapegoat her and her family. But Feiyu isn't about to let that happen. She steps between them. She then launches into the most epic, heart-wrenching speech about how Ningxuan was injured in a past explosion, and that's what inspired her to create a safer method. She frames the new technique as a gift born from suffering, designed to protect everyone. She finishes by saying how Ningxuan's kindness is what allowed her to improve and be here today. The crowd is completely moved, their skepticism turning into admiration. But Lu the Snake isn't convinced. Before he can argue, Lord Shuen takes control. He declares that the real problem is the pill shortage. Lu volunteers to work overtime, but Lord Shuen shuts him down, telling him to rest and that he'll borrow pills from the first prince. Then he delivers the final blow. Rong Feiyu and Rong Ningxuan will now be officially working at the Hole of Pill Alchemists to help out. Feiyu accepts, knowing this is her chance to prove everyone wrong. She's ready to show them the power of her new technique. Lu tries to protest, calling Feiyu inexperienced, but Ningxuan unleashes her inner savage. Lord Shuen has spoken, who are you to question him? She snaps. She then proceeds to roast him into oblivion, reminding everyone that Feiyu is a competition champion while he has 0 titles to his name. Feiyu blushes as her bestie goes into max-level roast mode. Lord Shuen silences the crowd, officially putting Feiyu in their care. He knows that once they see the results, they'll be convinced. Lu can only stand there and seethe. Lord Shuen escorts the girls to their new private workshop. He tells them to just ask if they need anything. Ningxuan gets suspicious, asking if he knew there would be trouble. She's internally grumbling about him being a typical male lead. But he's interrupted by a servant announcing the arrival of foreign diplomats. He explains he has to discuss a trade deal for rare herbs. Ningxuan thinks he could have just said that in the first place. She glances at Feiyu, worried she might be upset about being dragged along. But Feiyu is secretly celebrating. This means she gets Ningxuan all to herself. Ningxuan, meanwhile, is on a completely different wavelength, feeling sorry for Feiyu and worrying that a certain diplomat, Nimi, will ruin things for the main couple. Panicked that she'll mess up the plot, she suddenly grabs Lord Xuan's arm and drags him away, shouting that she wants a closer look at the diplomat's outfit. I'm going, Feiyu, she yells. Don't worry, I won't let her ruin your relationship. Feiyu is left completely baffled, her dreams of a quiet afternoon shattered. As they walk, Ningxuan starts grilling Lord Xuan about his connection to the diplomats. He explains he met one of them at Julai 4 years ago. She probes further, asking if he met a Julai's daughter before, trying to get her plot points straight. He says no, their first meeting was just recently at the restaurant. Ningxuan is annoyed, all she wanted was a solo walk. Suddenly a commotion erupts, a girl is standing on a roof. It's the princess Nimi, you again, she calls down. Lord Xuan warns her to be careful. She arrogantly boasts that she's climbed mountains bigger than this. But the universe loves irony, the roof tile under her foot slips. She flails wildly, and then face plants directly onto the ground. Ningxuan stares at the scene, completely deadpan, and mutters, "Take 2. Our poor girl is having a complete meltdown, mortified that she's run into these two again after making a fool of herself. Rong Ningxuan, ever the concerned rival, asks if she's okay. Just then her father arrives and happily greets Lord Xuan. But his good mood evaporates the second he sees his daughter, scolding her for being covered in dirt. Nimi is ready to file for paternal emancipation as her dad apologizes to Lord Xuan for her behavior. But Lord Xuan is smooth as silk, brushing it off and inviting her father to see some magical plants he's arranged for their trade deal. And then with a charming smile, he invites our girl along too. Nimi is completely stunned. Lord Xuan thinks to himself that since her father values her so much, this will make future negotiations a breeze. Our girl is spiraling, begging the universe to let her disappear after this double humiliation. As they all walk together, our girl and Ningxuan keep sneaking awkward glances at each other. Ningxuan can't shake this weird feeling, wondering why Lord Xuan would invite the princess along. The misunderstanding is brewing. She glances over at Nimi's shy expression and immediately assumes she's fallen head over heels for Lord Xuan. Meanwhile, Nimi is freaking out, wondering why she only meets them during her most chaotic moments and why this girl's stare is so incredibly creepy. Her attendant helpfully whispers who the girl is. That's Rong Ningxuan, Lord Xuan's fiancée. Not only that, but she's supposedly a possessive, jealous woman who has literally beaten up rivals and trashed restaurants over him. Nimi trembles, a scary woman whose gaze is getting weirder by the second. She's totally going to get beaten up. Ningxuan is also having an internal crisis. Every time she sees Lord Xuan's handsome face, she's reminded of her embarrassing fall. Both girls simultaneously decide this chaotic misunderstanding has to end now. Nimi plasters on her best practice smile, launching a charm offensive. She lays it on thick, calling Ningxuan pretty, gentle, and thanking her for the rescue earlier. Ningxuan just blushes, saying it was nothing. This is all too much for Nimi's dad, who starts sobbing about his daughter finally making a friend. Our girl tells him to cut it out immediately. Lord Shuen, ever the opportunist, suggests the two ladies go sightseeing together while the men talk business. He gives Ningxuan a wink, thinking this will help him secure new trade deals, but she just looks confused. She wonders if he's having an eye cramp, but then realizes this is the perfect chance to get this potential love rival away from Lord Xuen and deal with her personally. And so the two walk off alone, the air thick with pure, unadulterated awkwardness. Things have officially become uncomfortable now that it's just the two of them. Nimi tries to break the silence by talking about food, which somehow makes it even worse. The awkwardness has gone critical. They both look like they want the ground to swallow them whole. In a panic, Nimi blurts out, "You're so pretty, you must have a lot of admirers, right?" Ningxuan is taken aback by the sudden, weird question. But our girl has a plan. To calm down this supposedly lovesick woman, she'll just describe a man who is the total opposite of Lord Xuan. She starts describing her ideal type, a tanned, carefree guy with short hair and tons of muscles. Ningxuan is completely floored. "Really?" she asks, completely confused. In her head, she's thinking this doesn't match the original story at all. She then asks what type Nimi likes, hoping she'll say Lord Xuan so she can clear things up. But instead, Ningxuan starts describing her ideal type, mature, aloof, with a steely gaze that makes his rare gentle moments all the more precious. She's practically swooning just thinking about it. Nimi is baffled. Is she talking about Lord Xuan? The level of projecting is absolutely insane. Just then, they're interrupted by a servant who was told to take the princess sightseeing among the herbs. Nimi's attendant whispers that it's because Miss Rong has to replenish Lord Xuan's pill supply. Our girl's imagination immediately runs wild. She pictures Ningxuan as a tyrant, forcing her poor sister to make hundreds of pills just to impress a man. Yep, she concludes, Rong Ningxuan is a terrifying woman. Meanwhile, back at the fourth prince's palace, he's getting some troubling news. Lord Xuan is already moving, putting another man in charge and starting trade negotiations with Nimi's father. The prince realizes there must be a spy in their midst. With a wicked grin, he decides to help Lord Xuan's plan along by ordering his own soldiers to move and cause a slight delay. Whether Lord Xuan succeeds or fails, it's all part of the fourth prince's chaotic game. Back with our girls, Ningxuan is still pondering the plot change. Why would Nimi's type be so different? Lost in thought, she suddenly notices Nimi is just leaving the hall. Ningxuan starts to panic, remembering that the princess is supposed to be in grave danger later. She debates warning her but is afraid of messing up the plot even more. As Nimi wanders off muttering about fabric, Ningxuan realizes her chance to intervene is slipping away. She turns around for a second, and when she looks back, the princess is gone. Suddenly, the scene changes. They're in a fabric store, and Nimi is on an absolute shopping spree. Ningxuan is having a meta meltdown. Is this how comics change the setting in one panel? Nimi just casually claims Ningxuan led them there before ordering even more fabric. But then a horrifying realization dawns on Ningxuan. She knows this place. This is where the next terrible incident from the original story is supposed to happen. She tries to bolt, but a hand stops her from leaving. It's Nimi, completely oblivious, holding up a bolt of cloth. Ningxuan is absolutely fuming. She desperately tries to convince the princess to leave, saying it's getting late and it's not safe. Nimi scoffs, not safe. In the capital city, Ningxuan insists that accidents can happen in a busy city. But the princess is completely unbothered, bragging that her powerful warrior servants can protect her. And right on cue, a squad of ninjas drops from the ceiling, instantly taking out her entire entourage. Servant squad KOD, Nimi is terrified. The assassins grab her. She demands to know who they are. Ningxuan is internally screaming at her to stop asking dumb questions and just RUN. But it's too late, the exit is already blocked. They're completely trapped. Nimi turns to Ningxuan, "Where did your enemies come from?" Ningxuan explodes. "What makes you think they're here for me?" Our girl savagely points out that Ningxuan has a reputation for beating people up, so it's probably her fault. And honestly, Ningxuan can't even argue with that logic. Still, she insists the assassins are here for the princess and tells her to ask them herself. After a dramatic pause, the ninjas all point in unison. Her. Nimi is shocked. Why? Furious that they're targeting her for no reason, she whips out her secret weapon. She unleashes a glowing animal bone whip. But the ninja just throws a pair of axes and shatters it to pieces. Nimi lets out a soul-crushing wail for her limited edition, custom-made whip. One of the ninjas asks what to do about the other woman, and Ningxuan knows exactly where this is going. They're going to kill the witness to avoid complications. Not today, Ningxuan grabs Nimi and makes a break for it. She yells that she's obviously not going to just stand there and get killed. The assassins are hot on their heels. They're running for their lives as weapons fly past their heads. An axe hurtles toward them. They leap over a wooden cart just in time. But the axe strikes the cart's wheel, turning it into a makeshift catapult. The girls are launched screaming into the air. They crash right through the roof of a nearby building. Dazed, Ningxuan slowly gets up, wondering where on earth they are. She looks over and her jaw drops. There's my Nimi, being held bridal style by the exact tanned, muscular man she described earlier. Ningshuin can only think one thing, this must be fate. The handsome stranger looks down at our girl and asks the million-dollar question, will you be my wife? And our poor, confused heroine can only stare back in utter shock.